是我在提醒说各位贵宾请尽速的说我们座谈会即将开始。你觉得要讲一下？我看一下。其实我觉得大家都会做，就我觉得早讲。变真什么时候要开始？
再等一下，我给你们一个这个 sign 的时候再开始。
那我就直接讲，欢迎各位贵宾。
对。等
一下我想去找一下那个。我不管。没关系啊，但这会我觉得我查询那些文化。那照合照，所以我就讲说，那我现在进入大合照时间，请左右两边的贵宾往中间靠拢。那这对中间的贵宾留在原地即可，这样。留在原地即可。摄影师将上台为我们进行大合照。然后你就说 Let's take a group photo. We'll now take a group photo together. 这样就好。有外国人坐在左右两边。但是我有请工作人员就是引导他们，就是坐在左右两边的。就他这排也要，可是这排其实不用，到我们就是前面两排之后就不用。可是我说 everyone please gather in the middle。可是我们两个指令都不一样。对啊，你不是说有到中间吗？我说只有左右两边，其他中间就是左右原地。左右两边。哲荣。就是讲左右两边的，请往中间靠拢就好。好。
现在就可以讲。
没有，执行长说在5分钟。
不是，我是说他要请两边的往中间。
不，我是说那个大合照的时候。
左后方啊，我们1/4。我等下跟他们说引导往左后方。后面1/4还没出来，再等5分钟。
好。
那我需要先讲说，
就说我们5分钟之后会开始，就提醒大家一下。
好。对啊，可是应该没人在乎。所以我要讲各位贵宾，座谈会将在5分钟后开始。好，给我坐好。给我闭嘴。请您。好像也不能叫人干嘛。对啊，好像也叫你说话。还是就普通开始，我就结束。好，各位贵宾。Ladies and gentlemen, the event will start in 5 minutes. 然后结束。那我讲话了，你确定吗？你觉得？各位贵宾，你觉得讲完大家会更安静吗？我觉得不会。哲荣，我要讲说，各位贵宾，我们的活动我们座谈会即将在5分钟后开始，结束了吗？各位贵宾，我们的座谈会即将在5分钟后开始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will start in 5 minutes.
印度台北协会。对。
欢迎各位贵宾参加今天由外交部主办、青年大使之友会协办的后疫情时代青年领导力座谈会。今天的座谈会，我们将从3个面向探讨后疫情时代台湾青年可扮演的领导角色，分别是青年与艺术文化、青年与公卫医疗以及青年与科技创新。在每一场次，我们都邀请了该领域的专家为我们进行深度分享。
Welcome to the seminar on youth leadership in post-COVID-19 era, sponsored by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Today, we will have 3 sessions on how youth can make a positive impact in different fields, which are arts and culture, public health and medical assistance, and technology and innovation. For each session, we will invite several professionals in that field to talk about the related topics and share their experiences.
在精彩的座谈会开始之前，首先介绍此次活动的主办人及贵宾。
Before we start our first session, we would like to introduce our host and distinguished guests.
外交部田中光政务次长
Deputy Foreign Minister Zhang Guangtian.
诺鲁共和国凯法斯大师
His Excellency Ambassador Jordan Kefas of the Republic of Nauru.
印度台北协会宋友仁副会长
Deputy Director General of India Taipei Association, Mr. Soka Sen.
外交部 NGO 国际事务会王雪红执行长
Director General Constance Wong, Department of NGO International Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
青年大使之友会潘俊仁会长
Mr. Junren Pan, President of the International Youth Ambassadors Alumni Association.
首先，让我们欢迎外交部田中光政务次长上台为我们致辞。恭请田政务次长。
We are very delighted to invite Deputy Minister Tian to give us his welcome remarks.
Well, I was given the instruction to speak in Mandarin. So for those they don't understand or they understand a little bit of Mandarin, please bear with me. 驻诺鲁共和国大使您好，印度台北协会的副会长，我们王雪红执行长，我们青年大使的这一次的会长潘俊仁，以及各位青年大使、各位来自东南亚国家的青年朋友们，大家午安，大家好。在大概1个多月以前，你们不要看这个东西 ，I changed my speech. But anyway, I'm going to speak whatever I'm going to speak. They are up there. 大概在1个多月、2个月以前，疫情还是非常严重的时候，我在想。我们每年办的青年大使到国外去交流跟青年朋友去对接的活动该怎么办？因为出不去，所以那时候我跟王执行长跟我们部里面的同事研究一下，我们为什么不利用这个时间，把过去青年大使把它聚在一起？然后找一些在东南亚或者在各国在这里念书也好、工作的年轻朋友，大家再聚在一起，我们把青年大使交流的活动换一个形式来办看好吗？结果我觉得执行长的执行力很强他马上就办了这么一个盛大的活动。我看了这么多年轻的朋友。所以我想问各位一件事情你们以前看过我的举手？Not too bad. A lot of people that know me because they've been to India, they've been to some other countries where I had opportunity to serve. 所以，在疫情这么困难的时间，大家能够聚在一起，对几个议题大家关切的议题啊，一起去进行讨论，我觉得这也是一个非常好的一个这个 opportunity 哈。那么这次疫情呢，可以说把中华民国台湾推到世界上另外一个高峰。当全世界都为疫情所苦的时候，我们能够还聚在一起，超过100个人在这里，我觉得说明了几件事情。第一个就是我们防疫做得非常的好。那么在这里，我要利用这机会特别感谢一些站在前线的一些防疫的工作同仁，他们所付出的辛劳。第二点呢，那么我觉得政府的政策跟人民的信心人民的信任完全结合在一起。所以说，政府推出的政策，我们可以100% to carry out。那么我们的要求，政府也会去理解所以我觉得这是一个 win-win situation。Not only that, we can safeguard ourselves, but we also have the opportunity or capacity to extend some helping hands to the other countries in the region. So until now, if my memory is correct, we have donated about 52 million masks to over about 80 countries around the world. 所以再次说明了，台湾是一个善良的政府，台湾是一个有能力的政府，所以这点呢，我想跟各位都觉得非常的骄傲那么彭博社也在全球75个国家新兴体的防疫表现呢，把台湾模式排为全世界的第1名，我觉得我们都觉得非常的骄傲。那么当然呢，展望未来，2020年大概再过2天就要过去了。那么这一年其实大家都蛮辛苦的，但是2021年我们该怎么面对一个新的情势？我想我们2021年虽然疫苗已经发生了已经发展出来，可是我相信可能还没有这么快看到 the end of this pandemic。我认为可能我们还要继续尤其现在又有一些变种的病情发生，所以我特别要希望年轻朋友在新年的期间呢，也请各位特别的注意自己的身体跟周遭朋友家人的身体。那么今天的座谈会，我们也特别的邀请了历届的青年大使，以及来自亚太友邦的新南向政策国家的外籍生，从科技的传媒、公卫医疗、艺术文化这3方面展开对谈。那么我们也希望能够分享我们新时代在后疫情开创新局面的视野以及它的愿景。我们也希望呢，能够利用这个平台呢，继续扩大国际社会肯定台湾模式以及台湾 is helping 的正面能量。那么我特别要感谢现场亚太友邦的一些年轻朋友，跟他们的留学生能够一起来参加。那么我听说我们开放报名的50个名额，在一开放的时候已经被所谓的秒杀秒杀。这在几个月以前我听不懂什么叫秒杀原来就是很快就被占满了这个名额，这是感到大家的热情。那么我本人在外交部服务已经有40年了，大概40年了，也去过很多地方。 包括刚才举手到印度的啊。那么我相信也有人去过诺鲁的，有没有？举手一下。诺鲁 ，yes。青年大使没有去过诺鲁吗？没有，哦。OK， 就你一个。哦，第一届 ，Look at that. This is the first ambassador, young ambassador. She went to Nauru. Wonderful. 有没有去过土瓦卢？哇 ，Look at that, look at that， 土瓦卢。哇，马绍尔呢 ？Marshall Island. Okay, wonderful. Palau. Yeah. I think we have so many youngsters. They've been traveling to all over the world. I think they not only enlarged their vision, I think they also made a good connections with the young generation and to make a bridge between these two. So the following 3 sections will be hosted by Tsai Wan-ting. She is in Nepal and 推动教育的远山呼唤。蔡婉婷在哪里 ？Let me see. Raise your hand. Who she is helping the people in Nepal. Okay, maybe she is not here yet. And 世界医学联盟担任会长的李柏锦同学。They are not here yet. Maybe they are preparing something, hiding. 以及思剧场的高疫凯总监。Okay, let's give him. 那么我们希望透过他们的这个交谈能够创造脑力激荡。青年大使的计划从民国98年创立以来，那时候我在外交部担当亚太司的司长，我们推动了青年大使的，所以从98年创立来，已经超过了1700位的青年大使。那么我知道有好几位已经进入外交部工作，有没有？参加青年大使以后进入外交部工作，我相信有啊。也有很多人在各行各业呢，包括在医疗卫生、民间企业、教育、非政府组织，甚至国防等领域，都有一些杰出的表现。那么，我相信当初参与国际青年大使计划这项经历，不仅仅是一段美好的回忆，更是激励大家在人生道路上勇往直前的一个重要的动力。我期待未来大家不论你在什么地方，都能够继续为台湾发声，担任台湾最佳的代言人。最后再次感谢大家，也预祝今天的座谈会顺利成功。也希望大家能够一起与我们继续的拼外交。谢谢 ，Thank you very much. Thank you.
勉励。
Thank you, Deputy Minister Tian, for your encouragement.
紧接着，让我们欢迎青年大使之友会潘俊仁会长来为我们说几句话。
Next, we would like to invite President of International Youth Ambassadors Alumni Association, Mr. Junren Pan, to give us his remarks.
谢谢。敬爱的田市长、王执行长、与会贵宾以及今天呢，我们开心回来团聚的国际青年大使们，大家好。
好。
2020年的国际青年大使交流计划我们虽然因为海外疫情的关系，我们暂缓办理，但是外交部呢仍然持续推动国际青年的交流计划活动。尤其今天举办本场论坛，让我们国内外的青年可以就科技、医卫还有文化等议题等展开对话。 那我对外交部的用心呢，感受其实相当的深。外交部提出这样的一个活动构想的时候，我个人呢就举双手赞成，并邀集青年大使们参与筹办。在短短1个月的时间之内，外交部和我们展现绝佳的合作默契和效率。我们从议程的规划设定、整体的规划，还有场地的勘察、视觉设计等等很多细节的项目呢，都很有效率的达成。在此呢，我想向全力支持本案的外交部、还有 NGO 工作伙伴以及青年大使们，表达最诚挚的感谢。让我们一起给外交部还有自己一个热情的掌声，好吗？虽然今年呢我们没有出访，但这场活动我们很开心看到许多外籍生的报名参加。希望今天的活动是我们建立起情谊的起点。除了未来呢我们能常保互动交流之外，也相信呢我们台湾人的友好热情可以呢体会在这片土地上的温暖。最后，我衷心的希望这个有意义的交流活动能够未来持续的办理。并且希望青年大使们能够继续在自己的工作岗位上为台湾、为外交尽一份心力。也预祝今天的座谈会圆满成功。谢谢大家 ，Thank you。
谢谢潘会长，也感谢为我们筹办这次精彩的活动。
Thank you, President Pan, for your encouragement in organizing such an inspiring event.
那我们现在进入大合照的时间。请左右两边的贵宾往中间靠拢，那么坐在中间的贵宾留在原地即可。摄影师将上台为我们进行大合照。
Now we're going to take a group photo. People sit by the side can gather to the middle, and people sit in the middle can stay in your seat. The photographer will come to the stage and take a picture.
请后面的伙伴也帮我们往前站一点哦。
赞。
接着，我们就进入今天座谈会的第一个场次——青年与艺术文化。我们非常荣幸邀请思剧团总监高疫凯先生担任主持人，而与谈人的部分都是历届青年大使。让我们欢迎青年大使之友会会长潘俊仁先生、南村剧场制作统筹秦以洁女士、美国新学院大学戏剧学院硕士生王以珍女士，以及亚洲达人秀演出者杨世豪先生。
Now, moving on to our first session, the topic is Youth and Arts and Culture. We are honored to invite the director of Thinker Studio, Mr. Yi Kai Gao, to be our moderator. Along with Mr. Gao, our outstanding panelists include Mr. Junren Pan, President of International Youth Ambassadors Alumni Association, Ms. Yi Jieqing, Production Coordinator of Playground Theater, Ms. Yi Zhengwang, graduate student at School of Drama in the New School, and Mr. Shihao Yang, a circus artist. Welcome.
各位午安，我是高疫凯 and I'm also giving the instruction speaking in Mandarin, but I also would like to say hi and thanks for having me here. 谢谢大家。然后我并不是青年大使，然后我相信跟大家年纪稍微有一点点差距了。那看到说，原来台湾在民国98年的时候就有这样子的一个机制，我觉得有一点当初年轻的时候没有好好把握这个机会。对，好，等一下的部分呢，会先由我进行一个简单的分享。那这个分享内容还是聚焦在艺术与文化，那特别针对在这个 COVID-19 这段时间，后疫情时期，以及我们在面对国际交流、艺术文化怎么去做一个发展。那这一次的讨论提纲大概分3个部分，我也很快速的带一下。大概第一个是后疫情时期青年所面临的挑战跟契机是什么？那第二个是政府如何可以更有效地支持艺文领域的青年？后疫情时期的青年大使如何透过艺文来落实对台湾的社会规划？那刚刚很快的跟4位就是艺术圈的伙伴们很快就打起了一些交流。好，我相信等一下的内容，我也看过他们的简报分享内容，非常的有趣。那我就先从我这边开始。好。喂 ，OK， 有看得到我的简报。好，很快的是我很快的自我介绍一下，我叫高疫凯，那目前服务于Thinker Studio 思剧团，它是一个民间的独立艺文团队机构。那虽然我们名为剧团，但比较不是做进行单一创作的一个团队，比较是视为一个民间的平台。那目前是一个我目前是思剧团的总监。同时，除了在这样的一个平台工作以外呢，我也是一位表演艺术的策展人，然后以及独立制作人。过去几年在面对国际交流的一些合作，同时有跟不同的机构、公部门一起工作过，包括国艺会，然后还有台北表演艺术中心两厅院、国家两厅院。甚至在2015年的时候，因为我们团队坐落在台北的老街区大稻埕，所以我们也独立发起了一个民间的独立艺术节，叫大稻埕国际艺术节。透过这个艺术节的平台，也去进而跟许多国际之间的艺文创作者一起来合作。好，那最近这3到4年的时间，更致力于其中一件事情，是在进行国际交流，以及透过艺术文化担任国际经理人的一个角色。很快的再跟大家介绍一下 Thinker Studio 我们所经营的空间思剧场。这个空间看起来很明亮、很干净，它是坐落在一个老屋里面，至今已经营运7年了。主要呢，比较聚焦的几个工作内容是希望可以成为一个民间的平台，提供年轻青年的艺术创作者有一个发表以及发展的机会。那这样一个小型的空间是可以让很多还在起步阶段的创作者，他们可以尽情的发挥他们的创意。第二个是比较聚焦在表演艺术的一个教育养成，其中包括表演艺术的课程， 演员的培训课程，还有艺术行政。艺术行政其实是在国际交流以及国际经理很重要一环的一个角色。好，再来是国际的一个共治以及合作关系。最重要的是，我们其实跟很多的艺术创作者都提到一件事情是 open for any possibilities， 就是尽情的来跟我们提案。在这个空间里面，艺术文化它本身就不应该被有所过度的局限，在一个框架里面，我们怎么去发挥创意，它是一个很重要的事情。好，那我先回应的第一个问题是，后疫情时期青年面对的挑战跟契机是什么？好，整理出了3个东西。在今年2月的时候，我人还在日本，那时候在日本进行一个国际交流，表演艺术圈非常大，在亚洲的一个非常大的一个国际交流会场展会。它是一个日本表演艺术横滨年会，当时在现场的时候，其实台湾人对于这样子的一个国际交流危机意识感非常高，我们是全程佩戴口罩进行消毒的。那同时我们在这个过程中，在艰困的过程中，也是还是尽情的去尽量的去让大家知道说，台湾现在表演艺术以及艺术文化的发展到什么样的一个阶段。那这段期间，从3月回国以来到现在12月，台湾的表演艺术圈、艺术文化的发展其实有一个很大的改变，更不应该说的是台湾而已，我觉得比较像是全世界。最大的一个改变就是媒介，对，我相信大家都会听到线上化，但是可以大家想象一下，展演。如果我们在舞台上面的展演，怎么去从事一个线上化？所以这对很多的表演艺术工作者、创作者是一个很大的挑战。我透过一个镜头，我透过几台摄影机，我甚至透过电脑来进行我的论坛分享、我的观点提要，我怎么去表现我的创作？媒介的改变对很多艺术文化创作是一个很大的冲击。好。但我其实跟很多创作者提到一件事情，说千万不要让媒介成为是一个局限。反观，我们应该要去想的是说，怎么透过这个媒介，也就是说大家所说的线上，去发挥不一样的想象，这才是身为一个艺术文化工作者，我们有的一个能量以及才华。第二个的部分呢，是一样呼应到线上这样事情。以往我们在进剧场看演出的时候、看展的时候，观众其实就在眼前跟我们一起互动，甚至近年来越来越多的参与式沉浸式的一个演出。但是转换为线上的时候，观众在哪里？其实我们看不到观众，我们可能知道有观众。一个表演者当他需要有一个观众的回响沟通的时候，我们对谁沟通？但他对表演者、对创作者是一个主力。可是我觉得也可以去转换另外一个的思考面向是。所以在这样一个无远弗届的一个场地里一个空间领域里面，其实我们的观众群更多了，我们更应该好好的去拓展谁是我们需要沟通的一个对象，透过艺术文化的这样的一个力量。好，第3个部分呢，其实是我想要去点出的，我觉得大家比较没有去关注到的一个状况，在艺术文化工作者，我们会清楚以及关注制度或者说工作方法，但心理层面，透过这样子一个后疫情期代，我们线上工作，其实我们的工作团队变小了，我们可能没有办法像以往50个人的剧组在剧场里面一起进行创作。当我只有对着机器、对着网络工作的时候，那个心理的压力以及心理需要去调试的状态，必须呼吁很多青年创作者，我们怎么去面对这样的状态？好，第一个问题我讲的有点慢，我给它加紧一下速度吼。政府可以如何更有效的支持艺文领域的青年？对我来说，我觉得是一个很基础思维的方式。我希望这样的部分其实可以是有，也不是只有政府，我觉得是大众，所有人可以针对艺术文化工作者、创作者、表演者、艺术行政有更多的信任以及尊重。其实现在的表演艺术工作以及艺术文化工作，我觉得跟以往我大学时期甚至高中时期听到的状况已经不太一样了。有更多人自发性的会去进行国际连接。3、4年前那时候，我有意识到说，台湾跟东南亚之间的关系其实并没有这么的，在艺术文化的发展，尤其表演艺术，并没有这么紧密的一个连接。所以我就自发性的去驻地了一段时间，有申请了不同的补助计划，甚至自费，透过不同的计划，一起在不同的国家去了解，跟当地去进行一些连接， 然后促使这样子的一个交流更有机会发生。那这样的过程，它是需要非常仰赖高度的时间成本以及人力成本。在里面我有提到说，创作以及艺术的工作生产过程其实有很重要的3个部分，对大家来说或许没有那么容易被注意到。第一个是 researching， 再来是 observing， 然后再来才是 making。所以在前面这3个步骤，研究、填调以及观察，它会花费的时间很大。也就是说，创作者如果我们可以掌握这2块，我们就可以有更多赢得大家的尊重以及信任，这是我们的专业。好，再来，艺术文化工作者怎么进行一个社会的关怀？这是我今年跟一位独立艺术家张刚华一起合作的一个计划。我们透过洗头这件事情来进行住在台湾不同的东南亚社群的新住民移工之间的生活领域交流，透过一个很单纯的一个动作，它可以被发展成一系列的艺术行动。这样的艺术行动，其实在我们的日常里面都存在着。也就是说，其实这样的艺术行动并不是只有艺术家可以做。我觉得只要我们留心于生活周边的事件，其实它都是一项艺术能量。对我来说，艺术它就是一个从生活启发的一个媒介跟沟通，甚至它是一个很有力量、软性的一种语言。好，以上是大概我针对几个题目的分享。那如果有需要更多资讯的话，也可以参考我们的网页。好，谢谢。
大家好。那接下来呢，就是由我这个部分来讨论一下关于这个艺文状况呢，目前在台湾的一个整个状况。那所以呢，现在是换我的意思啊，到我的部分大家都轻松一点点啊。身为一个演员呢的责任就是要带着大家开心以及欢乐，但是呢又能够互动，吸收到知识，对不对？好的，自我介绍一下，我叫潘俊仁啊。那这是我的剧照啊，为什么要拿这个剧照给大家看呢？因为我们在传统戏曲的部分，我们需要举办这是演出之前我们呢要有一些办戏的这些过程，但是这个前置作业很长可是呢，却往往呢，我们带给观众的时间，演出时间很短，因此我们在过去的时间一直不断的去鼓励观众能够进剧场看。那可想而知，在这个时代因为疫情的关系，我们的剧场呢有受到多大的打击所以我今天简短的呢，就是说这2点我比较着重在后面这2点，就是说政府如何可以更有效的这个支持艺文领域的青年还有第3题为什么要特别讲这部分呢？在我们台湾目前跟各位介绍一下做京剧的部分呢，有4个团体。第一个呢是属于我们政府单位，就是我们台湾戏曲中心的国光剧团。第二个呢是属于私人的，也就是我在 PPT 上面讲的这个辜公亮文教基金会这个字比较小，所以我会把它朗诵出来给各位听。第二个就是辜公亮文教基金会的台北新剧团。第3个也就是我的母校国立台湾戏曲学院的这个附属京剧团。第4个就是由吴兴国老师还有林秀伟老师共同创立的这个当代传奇剧场如果有看过赌侠跟赌圣的，应该知道吴兴国老师是哪一位那在这个第2题呢，我先直截了当的说，就说如何可以这个支持艺文领域的青年呢？我就是以2个剧团为例。第一个呢，就是台北新剧团。那在这个时间，我们遇到什么样的问题？所谓第一个就是大型的这个剧场呢，演出观众无法进入里面看戏嘛第二一个就是定目剧受到影响。什么叫定目剧？这个剧团相当特别，就是说他们定期在国外友人来的时候，他们是1356也就是1356日都会有这个观光戏定期的国外的朋友可以到这边来欣赏我们的传统戏曲演出可是因为疫情的关系，从今年年初开始到目前全部是 停止演出的。那可想而知，对一个剧团有多大的这个杀伤力哈。那还有一些校园的这个推广活动还无法进行。所以呢，他目前呢，他做了怎么样的事情呢？其实呢，他第一，他就是说，因为梅花座的这个方式来售票演出啊，他还是可以卖票，但是进去的人就少了。但是呢，最主要还是他的每一场的演出都搭配了网络直播。我这边很细心的呢，把6月28的这个酷云剧场的这个宣传的这个海报给大家看。我们可以看到右上角呢，他写了每周日晚间8点 YouTube 频道轮番上场，你就知道刚刚前面这个主持人提到了这个线上目前有多重要的。好的，7月26号又有一场，也是在 YouTube 实况京剧演出接下来是11月1号、8号等等，接下来到12月27，乃至于到明年的这个1月3号都有不断的演出，但是都是透过线上。线上我们知道，我们在线上看的时候就不会有剧场的收入，你只能增加观众的这个可看度，对不对？好，那接下来呢，我们就要以这个另外一个剧团叫做当代传奇为例。当代传奇呢，我们可以看到照片就是在这个期间里面，因为也是同样无法演出，因此他们在加强演员的培训，比方说他们的英文程度啦、书法啦、艺术等等，培养演员内在的课程都在这个时候进行，也是演员呢，我觉得是静心非常好的时刻像我认识很多一些优人神鼓的这些工作者，他们在演出之前都会冥想、会静心、会静坐，我觉得这是相当棒的。身为一个演员呢，沉淀自己的心情是很重要的。那这个当代传奇的剧场，他就利用这段疫情的时间呢，让自己的演员呢好好沉淀下来，也是不错的。那至于文化政府呢，给予实质上的帮忙呢，我也在这边呢要相当感谢政府，就是说在文化部呢，他这个政府单位他对于新传奇剧场呢有这个2个。这个补助，为什么讲新传奇？因为在这个团体下面呢，还有一个培养青年演员的这个小团体，叫做新传奇，是让所有青年演员在这个当代传奇剧场下面再成立一个青年团，培养这些青年学子。那就有2出戏，一个叫《少年三岔口》，一个呢就是太古踏舞团的这个舞进台场那他们利用这段时间去审核这样的剧目，也就是说，文化部呢，他提前审核原本明年还有今年要到英国爱丁堡演出，还有这个法国亚维农艺术季的这个演出，通通无法成型因此呢，他就在这个时候先审核剧目，等审核剧目了之后，我再给你补助相关金额，确定你们的品质 OK 之后，你们有很多的时间可以去不断的怎么样去修改。可是政府拨了这个钱，现在剧团就可以度过这个疫情时间，我觉得这是相当好的这个合作演出那还有这个文化局也给予这个林家花园租借场地，提供给这些表演艺术工作者这个演出的机会，但是是跟观众有距离的。因此我在 PPT 上面特别看到他们在亭台楼阁那里演然后距离在3公尺以上所以说呢，这个进去的观众你还是可以有距离的去欣赏到优秀的演出。好，那接下来呢，因为时间的关系以我个人为例，我要回答第3题，也就是说，后疫情时代的青年大使如何透过艺文持续落实对台湾的社会之关怀呢？以我个人为例我写了这个少数的校园艺术演讲因为艺术演讲我每年大概会参加60场左右，但因为今年呢，可能少到10几场，但是还是有的。但是不断的努力的过程当中，发现距离要保持，还有这个口罩一定要戴着，因为面对的都是学童这一点部分我们当演员的特别的要用心还有以及国中部与高中部的这个校园表演艺术课程教学。为什么以我个人为主呢？因为很多的表演艺术工作者他并不是进团，他必须是一个人单打独斗的自由工作的这个艺术家。所以说，我知道我面临这样的问题，那其他的人他可能也面临同样的这个问题参与电影拍摄日本艺术文化交流活动等等，或是呈现比较静态的为霹雳布袋戏的电影题字都是一个比较个人的 这样的一个活动。那最后我希望呢，我们可以一起用正能量呢这个观想美好的2019年。这张照片是在疫情尚未有的时候，我们这个大家一起在外交部合作的这个照片跟青年大使你会觉得我们很开心，都没有戴口罩，对不对因为是在2019年拍的那这个也最后期待国内外的友人呢能够再回到台湾，共同欣赏如同这张2019年6月份拍的照片一样大家开开心心的再回到剧场或是在户外支持我们的街头艺人。非常谢谢您的这个聆听 ，Thank you for your attention， 谢谢各位 ，Thank you。
嗨，大家午安，我是今天的讲者怡杰，叫我EJ就可以了。然后，稍等我一下。好，然后今天我会稍稍的把重点都放在剧场艺术的部分，因为毕竟这是我的所学，也是目前令我最快乐的工作。那大家可以看到今天这张 PPT 上面，它是有名画人子因应疫情期间戴上口罩，充分了体现艺术呼应社会趋势。接下来在开始分享之前，我想先大家说一下，在这1年内我内心的改变。其实我觉得人类是很脆弱的。大环境想要怎么改变，我们没有办法预测，但是我们必须要先调试我们自己。现在就像把所有人都拉回了同一个起点的感觉。如果我们还继续沉浸在舒适圈，不往前走的话，那我觉得我们就没有进步的空间了。接下来呢，在剧场界今年遇到最大的问题，就是几乎所有的演出跟活动都被取消或延迟了，整个市场没有平台，作品没有被看见的机会。那除了大众娱乐的减少之外其中最影响到的有3个族群。第一个族群就是应届的毕业生，无论哪个科系，对毕业生来说，毕业即失业本身即是个恐慌，而今年来说更是如此。第二个，除了毕业生之外，还有就是在业界以自由接案的自由工作者们，他们在没有预警的状况之下，被告知他们的工作一一被取消，让他们只能依靠着存款来过生活，甚至有些人因为经济压力的关系，就被迫只能转行，跑到别的跑道去。但是这样就会导致这个业界的人才流失。第3个呢，就会是剧团们，他们也许在制作演出的时候已经是亏损状态，面临着金融危机了，然后再加上人事费用厂房租金等等，会让他们更不能负荷。以上的种种对我或者是对剧场来说，都会是一个蛮大的考验跟蛮大的打击。不过我们大家也不用这么快的气馁。有人说过危机就是转机，我认为像刚刚说的，就是把大家拉回同一个起点嘛。只是起点是从心境上，我们要从心里从零开始。低潮之余，不妨也看看其他人。你看现在在座有这么多人跟我们一起还关心的这个议题。这不就是转机吗？然后除此之外我们也可以想想，过去我们自己做的事情是不是真正喜欢的？是迫于生存呢，还是你热爱这个工作？要是你真的只是迫于生存，那不如趁这个机会，好好找一个自己喜欢做的事情。《俗女养成记》的有一句台词说过：“这辈子其实很长，长到你可以跌倒再站起来，做梦再醒过来。这辈子其实也很短。”短到你没有时间勉强自己，也没有时间讨厌自己。所以我觉得“危机就是转机”这句话很适合大家去思考一下。以及我个人不认为政府一定要为我们做出什么。我觉得在我们这个产业里，我们身为这个产业里一份子，我们应该先想想我们可以为自己做出改变。我有观察到台湾艺文产业一些可以改进的地方，不过都来自于我们的人文社会样貌。在条件有限的状况下，我提出一个是目前我服务剧场的想法，我觉得很棒，可以帮助到 今天想提出这个加速计划，它其实不是个计划的名称，它只是一个概念。我们有发现，目前剧团或创作者们几乎缺少的资金跟资源，很多时候有遇见很不错的作品，但是他们都没有办法，都没有遇到好的机会可以让整个实现，我就觉得很可惜。然后另外，以剧团来说，目前可能最大的支出就会是在场地租金的部分。场地租金也可能1个礼拜，可能就要8万、10万跑不掉，这对他们来讲会是非常大的打击。而我们的剧场，我们不会和团队收取场租，我们是以票房分润的方式作为补助。但是这个加速计划不是谁来都可以加速，谁来我们都可以不收场租的，是你在先展演过后。然后我们发现，哎，你这个剧本，你这个表演很不错，我们就会说，那我们不收你场租，你来我们这边演，我们共同去平分这个票房。这样对剧团来说不会有票房的压力，也不会有租金的压力。所以我觉得这是可以让一部戏一做再做，一做再做，让一部戏越来越好的方法，而不是像现在普遍剧团的演出是1个礼拜结束。然后就再也不会再演了。也许半年后之后再演，对观众来说又会是一部新的剧，这没有办法让观众产生共鸣。再来就是成立一个有制度的工会，保障大家的工作权利。据我所知，今年剧场有新建一个工会了，不过还是希望在大家的努力下，可以让剧场这个业界不要如同次文化一般的存在。我们很多新生都会被遗忘、被忘记，但是我希望大家可以多多走进剧场看戏，了解一下那些创作者想表达的是什么，他们想分享的意境是什么。而且比起我们如何透过媒介传达对社会的关怀，其实我更重视如何唤起大众对艺术的热情与文化的热情。我觉得文化与艺术都有它们存在的价值，是一种教育，是一种责任，就如同历史一样，是由过去与现代不断交织而成的。引起共鸣，就代表他们有一样的记忆。如果我们还是针对特定族群或是特定议题去进行关怀的话，整个产业还是会陷于同温层当中。当表演者或者是当创作者与大众再也没有产生共鸣的时候，那我觉得那就是文化与艺术的末日了。好，以下是我观察到台湾普遍文化与艺术产业的困境，大家可以一起听一下，思考一下。最下面那一张很漂亮的是维也纳的剧院，维也纳的家庭愿意花1个礼拜的薪资带全家大小进剧场看戏，可是我们台湾的观众们就是宁愿花4D Max 的电影票钱2刷3刷，也不愿意花钱进剧场看戏。我觉得这是台湾人对文化与艺术不够热情。接下来第二个照片是韩国大学路上大大小小总共有1000多间的剧院，每个作品演出的场次都是以百起跳。在台湾大部分演出都只演出1周，口碑刚建立起来就结束了。演出场次少，作品普遍的成熟度不高，也不太经得起市长的考验。第3个就是百老汇，大家有听过百老汇？有吧？有听过外百老汇吗？好，有听过外百老汇吗？他们整个区都是剧场。我们台湾好像大部分只有电影院，对不对？好，大家可以想一下，我们该如何帮助这个产业？也许每一个人买1张票走进剧场看戏，我们整个产业就会变得不一样了。好，我的分享到这边，谢谢大家。
喂，大家好，那我是王以真，那我现在是在 The New School Theater Directing MFA 的2年级学生，然后目前是休学中，所以我等一下接下来的分享比较多都是从一个海外留学生的角度去回答这3个问题。 那我今天的分享会分成2个部分，第一个部分主要是分享说，因为我目前是在美国纽约念书，那同时我这1-2年之间也有 audition 上我们学校跟布拉格戏剧学院他们的简称叫 Zhang 他们的交换计划。所以我等一下会分享这2个国家究竟他们的剧场产业是谁在 support， 或许可以作为我们的一个参考。那第2个部分呢，是身为一个在台湾留学的剧场导演学生，就是从这个角度去跟大家分享说，那 COVID-19 到底对于我们就是给我们什么样的困境、机会，还有一些建议。那第一个问题呢，就是那到底在纽约还有在布拉格这2座城市的剧场是谁在支撑他们度过这个难关的？首先是纽约，刚刚我其实觉得蛮幸运的，就是刚刚好在就是前面讲者也有刚好在分享到说跟纽约百老汇有关的东西。那其实，在纽约他们有非常非常多的剧场工会。如果你是一个剧场的实践者，你要参加他们工会的话，其实你要先上网去查，因为他们我现在举的都只是前面就比较有名的几个，但其实他们有10几个工会，然后他们的每一个专业都分得非常的细。那这些工会在 COVID-19 爆发之后，其实他们很重要的功能就是他们会要求这些他们的成员工作的这些剧团也好，或者是公司也好，去履行这些，即使演出取消了，也要履行合约。所以这些人他们在第一时间，虽然他们演出都被取消了，但是因为他们有跟这些地方签合约，所以他们有办法还是拿到一些基本的收入，去维持他们的生活。那这个部分其实在台湾，至少就我所知，业界很少在签约，特别是表导组跟当天执行的剧场技术人员，所以我觉得这件事情是我们可以借鉴的地方。那另外一个跟纽约百老汇有关的是，他们其实在刚刚提到的 Off Broadway 或 Off of Broadway， 他们其实有尽可能的去推动一些社区剧场。这些社区剧场通常是像一些犹太社区或土伯社区，他们可能是为了要做文化传承或是教育的目的，去有一些社区的剧场。那这些剧场也会提供一些艺术行政的人员基本的薪资，去度过这样子 COVID-19 没有演出的时期。那下一个分享的是布拉格。那我印象很深刻的是，我当初在跟Zhang的学生就是交流的时候，我们大家讨论到未来的就业，他们就说：“哦，我们完全不担心毕业以后会没有工作啊。”我们就很惊讶问说：“为什么？”他们就说：“其他学校他们不确定，但至少以布拉格戏剧学院来说，他们绝大多数他们的毕业生最差就是去国家剧院做工作，因为他们的国家会提供一定程度、一定数量的艺术工作，去养这些艺术工作者，让他们确保说他们每年都会有一定程度跟一定质量的艺术剧场演出。那这个东西就会比较是从政府方去做的事情。那我们可以从这边学到什么东西呢？我觉得很重要的事情是，纽约跟布拉格他们2个可以做到他们做到的事情。纽约的前提是市场很大，然后他们的剧场的整个产业是非常完整的，所以他们有办法连工会都做得非常的细致。那布拉格的状态是因为他们很多欧洲的国家，他们通常每一年的预算会很多，会花在艺文活动上面，所以他们有这么高的预算可以去养这些艺术工作者。那在台湾的话，我觉得有一点像是这2个地方的中间值，就我们渐渐开始有越来越多，渐渐开始有人去做工会，但目前就我所知，相关剧场相关是2个。那我还蛮乐观其成，是之后可以有更多人去推动。那我们今年年初的时候爆发 COVID 的时候，也有像文化部推出的纾困方案，去帮助一些剧场工作者。那我自己会觉得，未来政府可以做的最实际的事情是，不管政府之后是政府跟民间团体合作也好，自己决定未来可能预期要主办任何的文化艺术类活动，都有一个 Plan B。那这个 Plan B 是做什么用？我们现在非常幸运，因为像刚刚前面很多人提到，台湾的防疫做得非常好。但是我跟很多剧场的朋友也有在聊说，万一真的就是万一，我们台湾落到跟世界也不是落到，就是如果遇上跟世界其他国家一样，没有办法现场演出的状况，我其实会觉得现在当我们在做的时候，可以做这样子的 Plan B 是。我们有这样子的计划，万一真的到达那步田地，这些已经预定好要做演出的人，谢谢，都会还是有办法 未来还是有一份工作跟一份固定的薪资，去继续让这个产业前进，而不是在遇到一个寒冬之后，这个产业就整个没落掉了。好，那接下来我会讲快一点，就是关于我们遇到的一些挑战、机会跟一些建议。那挑战其实最根本的就是学校在3月11号，永远不会忘记，纽约所有学校都shut down。所以，甚至是有一些学校是严重到连他们的宿舍都在赶人。所以第一个时间是，很多我有一些朋友，他们第一时间是要赶快去找说哪些朋友家客厅可以借住，或是亲戚去借住。所以第一个困境其实就是我们要待在哪里，我们有没有办法买到机票？因为疫情一爆发的时候，其实机票是难买的，甚至有很多那个飞机。会取消，班次会取消，所以这是第一个比较实际的问题，是我们该去哪，何去何从。第二个就是在台湾去线上学习，或者是像我一样做一个休学的动作。那我自己是念剧场导演的，我前2年的 training 基本上大部分都是在排练场度过，所以我自己的考量是我并不觉得线上的学习可以跟现场的学习有一样的质量，所以我选择休学。那再来是 internship OPT 是美国的一个叫 optional practical training， 就是其实都是实习，也接到后来的事业规划。那其实这件事情被 COVID 影响得非常严重，很多人原本甚至有一些 internship 都被取消，因为公司就会说，拍谁我们很想要你，可是我们养不起你了。但反过来说是机会，是我自己是台艺大毕业，那台艺大其实是比较多元的训练，是我虽然是走导演，但是我还是有很多技术背景，所以在春天开始爆发 COVID， 大家都被关在自己的房间的时候，我们第一时间还是有办法找到方法去做，刚刚也有提到的在 YouTube 上面的直播演出，就是算保留一点点，至少是剧场的即时性这样。那就是个人的，如果你有在这方面的专业的话，其实第一时间是会被学校看见，也是可以跟学校去沟通说，那我需要什么样的资源，我可以提供系上这些关于一些技术上的咨商，那去换取一些讨论的筹码。那还有 tighter connection with the classmate 是我前2年其实大部分时间都在上课或是在工作，但是因为 COVID， 所以大家有点停下来，反而是可以跟同学更深入的交流，去理解说，对于一个美国同学而言，他们遇到的情境是什么？那我们身为留学生遇到的情境是什么？大家可以去做资讯的交换，也变得比较感情上面也变得比较融洽。那最后就是台湾，其实刚刚也有提到，几乎是世界上少数可以继续有现场演出或现场活动的地方。所以我其实很多在国外的同学，他们会很好奇我们现在都在做什么。所以其实也是一个很好的，就是让大家知道说台湾在干嘛的机会。好，最后就是算是一个结尾。我曾经在各式各样的一个场合，就是听到很多优秀的外交人员，用不同的方式说，其实外交本身就是在交朋友。那就会到我最后的建议是说，如果说这些留学生他们最后确定要回来台湾，其实他们也是台湾的一个资产，是特别是拿奖学金的人，他们可以把国外的经验带进来台湾。如果我们有任何的，就是不管是文化部或者是外交部有什么样子的交流活动，其实这些人是第一时间可以提供对在外面大家是怎么做的一个最新的资讯，也是可以提供更多的建议，是说我们可以怎么样更好的跟国际做交流。那至于那些有能力也愿意待在国外的人，其实他们可以强化我们跟当地社群的连接。就是我自己的经验是，我念的这个学系比较冷门，所以我们系上，我这一届只有我一个亚洲人，更不要说台湾人真的很少，他们对于台湾了解非常的少。可是因为我们平常在做艺术创作也好，上课讨论也好，我们在这些过程中其实都会更加的了解彼此来的国家跟彼此的文化背景，所以其实这某种程度上是一个更好的机会，让世界上更多人去知道说，台湾这个地方是一个什么样的地方，然后我们可以做到的事情有多少。谢谢大家。
好的，那我是世豪，那我就是一个在战场上，就是现在正在表演界以表演者的一个身份来回答接下来这3个问题，就是面对后疫情青年挑战的这个挑战到底是什么？ 就是所有就刚刚其实前面几个都有说了，就是活动都终止，剧场商演几乎没有收入。那在电影院跟剧场观众观看的习惯就转变成线上，其实前面刚刚都有说到。然后前一段时间我很常在做街头表演，然后我发现，在疫情爆发之后，你根本连观众已经跟你开始有一段距离了，你已经很害怕，观众已经开始很害怕会不会被传染这件事情，所以这一件事情也完全的被隔阂，然后也开始在思考剧场未来存在的价值。如果当今天所有的剧场演出都变成是线上观看，那剧场存在的本质是什么？对。然后表演艺术工作者如果再承受第2次的疫情破口，我们是不是就真的会失业啊？这件事情也让我提早去思考到，关于我40、50岁以后不能再演的时候，我能够做什么？对，然后在这部分我就给大家再去思考，然后再继续讲后面，我重点比较摆在后面。政府如何更有效地支持艺文领域的青年这件事情，台湾做了有很快的，那时候郑丽君部长做了一个很快的决定，就是艺文纾困计划，让有一些个人工作者或团体工作者有机会拿到一些生活费，能够维持生计。对，所以他在这个计划我记得持续了2次，一次是1.0跟2.0，然后每次拿的费用大概是每个月都会有3万块的一个补助，所以基本上都还算活得过去。然后在3月的时候，我参加了卫武营办的一个卫武营国家艺术中心他们办的一个艺术家论坛，他把所有的各个领域的艺术家聚集起来，开始在思考，如果今天所有的演出都变成线上的话，那就是我刚刚回到剧场存在的本质这件事情是什么？对，然后关于线上补助的创作，就是我觉得政府应该也可以去思考这件事情，怎么样让线上创作这件事情，在未来可能加入 VR 或者是 AR 的各种可能，它会有更健全的发展吧。那其实今天就是要讲这个后疫情时代青年大使如何透过艺文持续落实对台湾社会关怀。那自从我疫情发生之后，我许多的演出都是在大概17到19年的这段时间，我的人都在法国或是欧洲做巡回演出。那疫情一爆发之后，我开始有更多时间在面对我自己，甚至回到台湾之后能够做什么这件事情。那我就开始有更多时间可以去想，那接下来如果不能演，我能干嘛？我就想到，我就开始有机会变成了分享表演的一个讲者。那我分享的事情大部分都是在讲我自己的成长历程，然后表演艺术教会我的事情。那透过这些分享，其实也激励了不少青年。那在之后，我开始在想那个社会关怀这件事情，我忘记是看了什么电影，然后我就开始在想，那些社会底层，比如说像是一些弱势，或是启聪学校，或是听障的那些我们很难接触到的族群，他们其实根本就没有机会接触到艺术表演这件事情，离他们好远好远。那我就在想，我就自己发起这个100场公益计划。这个影片是我在第一次做公益演讲的时候，这些人他是一个咖啡厅，那咖啡厅的老板娘她其实就是在帮助，他们那个咖啡厅没有任何的营运，就是只有就是付100块，让你咖啡喝到饱这样。那边的所有人也都是志工。那时候我听到，我在演讲的时候，我最后听到他们都是癌症病患的时候，我心里面觉得天哪，他们那些人比我更适合上台做分享、做演讲。那我就开始在思考啊，我能够为他们付出些什么？那进行这100场公益讲座之后，这个计划其实是明年才开始的，但我今年12月20几号前一个礼拜，我忘记是什么时候，这件事情太多了。就是前一个礼拜，我去一个叫做圣家 启智应该是启智中心，对，圣家启智中心。那他们的人在告诉我说，他们面对，应该怎么说？应该说，他们怎么样去能够让他们理解艺术创作这件事情是什么？但我后来其实已经不是在告诉他们艺术创作是什么了，我比较是在告诉他们，你们光是要活着就已经不容易了。那其实你要怎么样享受接下来的生命？我觉得我多数都是讲给那里的照顾他们的社工听的。记得有一个很温馨的小故事跟大家分享一下，就是那时候这里的这个男生是园长，然后他就跟我分享了一个他们那里的小孩是看不见的，对，然后他们那时候做了一个户外的活动，是这个园长替大家收集就是人家不要的相机，然后他们带这些孩子去外面去拍照。那个看不到的小朋友他就拍了一张照片，跟老师说：“老师，你看我拍到什么？”然后老师一拿起来看，那个是糊的。然后老师就问他说：“啊，你在拍什么啊？”那个小朋友他就说：“老师，我拍的是风啊。”然后说：“你怎么拍得到风？”然后他就说：“因为我听得到风的声音，它风吹过来的时候，我就按咔嚓，那不就拍到风的声音了吗？风的样子了吗？”那我就在想，哇，这件事情，如果我可以让他们摸摸看大环，感受一下我自己在做的这个表演，那他们会有什么样的感受？这个小孩他已经他其实根本也没有办法，他的理解程度，他已经40几岁，但是他的理解程度大概在幼稚园的，只会说是不是。然后当他摸到大环的时候，他很高兴的样子，让我觉得，我更应该去关怀那些平常我们触摸不到的人。然后这些是照片分享给你们看一下。对，那我今天的分享就在这边告一段落。如果我前面没有自我介绍，如果你想要知道我是谁的话，你上网去搜寻杨少这个名字，应该就可以知道了。谢谢大家。
我们谢谢4位的语坛人。那因为我们时间有限，所以原定的 Q&A 我们就先这边告一个段落。但我觉得也蛮有趣的，最后的一个小结尾是，这里是4位的分享人，从传统剧场、传统表演艺术剧场到街头马戏，其实很多元。这就是台湾艺术文化跟表演艺术这么多样性。那最重要的是，我觉得刚刚都有提到一个很大的关键是沟通这件事情。创作者怎么运用自己的才华跟专业进行沟通？那被沟通者，我们可以怎么去进行多一点的支持？那不管是国内国外，好，那谢谢大家。
感谢高总监及所有语坛人为我们带来的深度分享，让我们了解到政府与青年在艺文领域的落实。
Thank you, Mr. Gao, and all the panelists for bringing us such an in-depth sharing and help us understand how the government and youth are contributing to the field of arts and culture.
现在是茶叙时间，我们特地准备了茶水，欢迎各位贵宾前往享用。下一场次即将在10分钟后开始，请各位贵宾准时回座。
Now we will have a 10-minute tea break. There are refreshments in the hall. Please enjoy. Thank you.
各位贵宾好，座谈会第2场次即将在3分钟后开始，请各位贵宾及早入座。
Ladies and gentlemen, the second session is about to start in 3 minutes. Please be seated.
可以。感觉后面的人听不到。但我接受到了几声。没关系。好，我等下把这一大段讲，我可以下去。还是我们就是等下不要很小。就是因为这真的看不到手。哦。我真的没有觉得不够。我其实也觉得还好，但他们说靠手。你说荧幕上我们这个。等下我去偷看一下。没有人理我啊，3分钟后。还会有人在外面要。对，换场吧，好。这边要站回来，然后我就站这边就好了。他们应该会出去。这样吗？应该会 delay 一下。他们的场风是谁？他们有没有要开始的意思啊？还要问那个主持人。你要吹什么？就是各位贵宾，座谈会第2场即将在 PPT. Oh, you haven't? Is it? Are you the 3rd section?
Last one.
The last one. Okay.
Yeah. Not now. Not this one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you haven't gave it.
So I gave it to them, but I made slight changes.
Yeah. So you this is the new one. And
Yeah.
它是第3场了，然后它有一点改变了。
Oh, you will revise it. Can I get it? 我开始好，接着我们进入座谈会的第二个场次——青年与公卫医疗。首先为各位介绍本场次的与会贵宾。我们非常开心邀请到世界医学生联盟会长李柏锦先生担任主持人。与谈人的部分，让我们欢迎高雄医学大学毕业生 Miss Carren-Tai Waqa， 台北医学大学附设医院齿顎矫正科住院医师陈德先生，台北慈济医院住院医师张卓宏先生。UBC 药厂的钟彦佑先生，屏东科技大学讲师杨义仁先生。
Welcome to the second session. This session is about youth and public health and medical assistance. The moderator of the session is Mr. Bo-Jing Li, the president of International Federation of Medical Students Association. Along with Mr. Li, we are delighted to invite our amazing panelists, Ms. Carren-Tai Waqa, recent graduate at Department of Medical Laboratory Science and Biotechnology in Kaohsiung Medical University. Mr. Daniel Chen, a dentist at Taipei Medical University Hospital. Dr. Zhuohong Zhang, a resident physician at Tzu Taipei Hospital. Mr. Victor Zhang, HCP partner at UCB Pharmacy. And Mr. Eason Yang, lecturer at the Office of Physical Education in National Pingdong University of Science and Technology.
开始之前，提醒各位可以在我们的手册上面扫描 QR code。
A kindly reminder that you can scan the QR code on the paper on your desk for the booklet for this seminar.
Excellencies, Director Wong, and my fellow panelists, and all the youth ambassadors. Good afternoon, and it's very good that you stay until this session. Compared to the previous one, it could be less interesting, as I said. Art is an outcome of human civilization. However, the task and the goal of public health is to ensure that this outcome of the human civilization can be passed on even in the era of COVID-19 and all the challenges from this natural world and perhaps from the human itself. I would like to first point out a very obvious problem that exists in these surroundings, if you haven't noticed. We have a very unsatisfied gender representation on the stage, and it requires our mutual force to fight against. So I look forward, like I'm not a youth ambassador myself. I have been looking forward to be one, but I didn't have a chance to be it. So you are my admiring ones, and I hope you get to do something that we failed to do yet, and in the future sessions we can see a more equally represented diversity panelists and sharing their ideas and opinions in this world. I think that's a thing that is important when we are doing the public health, not just individual health or the oral health, medical health, or anything individually. So I would like to first invite Ms. Waqa. She's a lovely lady so far as I know within the short talk. She's from Narau, and she has just graduated from a university in the south, Yishou Dashi, and studying on the medical technologies and the identifications of pathologies and all kinds of medical techniques. So I would like to invite Waqa to approach the stage, and in the meantime, I want to pay my tributes and respect to the speakers in the former sessions, if I may. They are the one that do awesome work and deserves all the support and all the respect in our society. The recommendation provided on health is evidence-based science, but the decision made on health itself is an art of human-oriented. So let's start this session with Ms. Waqa and her amazing sharing contents to be. Let's welcome her.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, 各位好 and good afternoon. So my name is Carren-Tai Waqa, and I'm from the Republic of Nauru, as my friend here has introduced me. And yes, I am a recent graduate from Kaohsiung Medical University from the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences and Biotechnology. So here is the basic outline for my presentation today, which includes my introduction, and my body will be divided into 3 subtopics, and finally my conclusion. Now, as we speak, the world is at war with a common enemy known as COVID-19. And I'm pretty sure all of us by now know a bit about COVID-19. However, I would just like to recap your memory. So, COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 was first identified last year in December in Wuhan, China. Now, fast forward to today, it is now a global pandemic that is causing so many problems for so many people and so many countries. Now, these problems are such as people or countries, they need to go into lockdowns. And due to these lockdowns, economies are plummeting. Schools are disrupted. Many are out of jobs. Medical or healthcare providers are under a lot of strain to protect us from this virus. And to make it worse, the virus continues to mutate. As we all know, there is a new strain right now. But today, we are here to discuss what we, the youth, can do in a post-COVID era to address or to help better the recovery of our medical sector. Now, how can young people best create better impact on the recovery efforts in the field of public health and medical assistance? Simple. The answer is or the solution is in our hands. We, the general public, we have the power to help our medical professionals. We need to listen to what they tell us. We need to play our role to fight against this virus. So here is basically targeting the youth, or maybe your characteristic or what you can do as a youth to help our medical professionals. Okay? So let's say we can continue to perform the proper precautions that they've told us. The wearing of proper PPEs, proper sanitization, social distancing, and please ensure that the information that you circulate is from legal authorities or legit places. Okay? Now, say no to ignorance. Why do I say no to ignorance? Now, we know or we've heard that the youth are in the low-risk group. So some places, like in Europe, they say, I'm young. If I get infected, it's not as serious as someone else. So they continue to party, they continue to do as they please. No, don't be ignorant. Play your part and protect those in our communities who are of high risk. It is your duty, it is your responsibility. Okay, isolate, quarantine, record. These are all necessary precautions that you can do yourself. You do not need to go to the hospital for the doctor to tell you what to do when you feel uncomfortable. Other initiatives include proactiveness, education, adaptation, service, and vaccination. Now, with all of these actions, this can actually make a big difference in our medical sector. Now, the traits that we expect of a youth in a post-pandemic era. This is basically based on my perspective on how a youth should be, okay? First is positivity. We need to be positive after all of this because due to COVID, so many of us have to go through so much trouble. We are undergoing depression. People are stressed. People are uncertain. They don't know what the future holds. So we need to be positive. We need to know that we can rebuild our country. We can rebuild civilization from this. We have to be creative and wise. Critical thinking is a necessity. We need to be responsible youths, play our part. We need to be willing. We need to be willing to change, because as medical professionals, we know that when a virus comes out or is discovered, it takes long to be eradicated. So maybe normal is far from now. So we need to continue to change our ways to better adapt to this situation. We need to be aware. Full transparency is needed. We need to be transparent. We don't have to lie to the public. We need to be transparent. And most importantly, unified. We need to be unified to address this problem. Now, how can young people better connect, collaborate internationally post-pandemic? Now, for countries, for first world countries, they have the advantage of using technology. So that is one way that we can connect internationally. We can use Skype, we can use video call, we can use YouTube, we can use many ways to avoid contacts. But what about countries that don't have the advantage of technology? What we can do, like in my country, technology is maybe not as advanced as Taiwan, but we can still attend functions, but it is necessary that we continue to do the precautions that are given to us. We must maintain social distancing, wear proper protections, okay? And finally, as we all know, COVID-19, like many viruses, has emerged and it continues to mutate. So, I ask you, you need to think now. You have the solution in your hand to help us in the medical field, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Waqa. I think there are some worthy of resounding points to be told again. The solutions are in our hands, and you start from washing your hands regularly. The second is about the support to the full transparency diplomatically and socially. And the last one is always important. Mental health is an issue. I believe Ms. Waqa also agreed that the so-called high-risk group does not only referring to the aging or those vulnerable to disease, but also mental health vulnerable group people, because they might not be necessarily vulnerable to the COVID-19, but they are vulnerable to the impacts of COVID-19 pandemics. Next, I would like to invite the next speaker, also a doctor, Dr. Chen Dexing. He is currently a dentist serving. As you know, our Ministry of Health and Welfare is also a dentist. So we would also love to see how a different education field on our oral health and teeth health would have his different perceptions on the COVID pandemic and its impacts.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Daniel Dexing Chen. Today I'm going to talk about the topic of youth leadership in post-COVID-19 era. Let me introduce myself first. I graduated from Taipei Medical University. I work in the hospital as a dentist. After several clinical training, I'm now a certified board orthodontist who basically do the braces and the aligners. In 2013, I was elected as youth ambassador to La Gambia. There, we shared how to write Chinese character and told them how to play martial art. During study in my college, I attended a lot volunteering, and I went to Kingdom of Eswatini twice. There, we just held the Taiwan medical mission there for the free medical service. And now we go back to the topic today. The first question, how do you think young people best can create better impact on the recovery efforts in the field of public health and medical assistance? The first part, I think that keep learning is a very important part. We need to equip ourselves with different skills, then we can have more ability to help others. Take myself for example, I graduated in 2015. And after that, I chose to have further clinical training in the hospital for 5 to 6 years. then I have a more opportunity to do the advanced treatment for the patients. Then I have more ability to help others. And take this year, for example, in 2020, we know the virus just spread all around the world. We all need to learn how to live with this virus because the world have already been changed. Besides learning, if we want to have better impact on others, we need to have a better communicative skills. Communication is very important. Not only your language ability, but also your way to express yourself. If you can communicate well, then you can express your opinion or your knowledge to others with an efficiently way. The third part, I think you need to enhance your self-image. I think the self-image is very important because if you want to impact others, you want to influence others, you need to have a good image. If you have a bad image, I think no one will follow you. The second question, what traits do young people need to lead in post-pandemic era? For me, I think first part, you need to be very rational and have a cool-headed because we will encounter a lot of frustrations in a very difficult situations. Take this year, for example, in this year, the virus just spread all around the world. Everyone needs to fight with this virus. But we Taiwanese people just work together to fight. Our government came out with appropriate ways to avoid the virus spread. I think it's a very good example. The second, if you want to lead, if you want to be a good leader, I think you need to be a good listener first. Whenever you want to make a decision, you need to understand your partners. You need to understand your colleagues. Then you can make an appropriate decision. The third part, I think we need to have a growth mindset. As I mentioned, we will face a lot of frustrations in our daily lives, but we for sure will make mistakes. But these mistakes don't matter. But we need to learn from these mistakes. We need to know why we fail, so we can learn from this and correct ourselves and improve ourselves. So be sure to have a growth mindset. The fourth, I think we need to be adaptive, like this chameleon. Yeah, like this year, we just face a lot of changes. I have mentioned this world have already changed by the virus. So we need to equip ourselves so that we can be adaptive to this new world. And I think we need to be positive. Being positive is very important to face different difficulties. Being positive, being optimistic will bring you more power to face difficulties. The third question, how can young people in Taiwan showcase our soft power in post-COVID-19 era? I think we need to use the concept of PDCA, plan, do, and check, and actions. Because we have a very good experience in fight COVID-19 virus, but we need, whenever we have a successful experience, we need to know why we succeed. Then we will keep it as a good experience in the future. But when we failed, we also need to know why we failed. Then we can correct it and improve ourselves. And in this era, we all need to make good use of the online meeting software to keep communicating with the people all around the world. I think take the opportunity to have a speech and to talk to others is also very important. And I have mentioned that we have a very good experience in fighting COVID-19 virus. So like my friends all over the world will be very curious about our lives in Taiwan now. I think we need to make good use of social media like Facebook, like Instagram or Twitter. And we need to use them with a decent way. We need to use it in an organized, professional, and influential way so that it will be a very good platform for young people to express yourself, to make you to be understood, and to influence others. And I want to share some experience in my hospital life. Like I have my residency training in the Taipei Medical University Hospital. Like in 2018 and 2019, we just hold the Advanced International Orthodontic Training Program. In this program, we invited so many doctors around the world to our school and to have a deeper communications and to share our experience. We also hold the city tour to make them to understand our Taiwanese culture. But in this year, we cannot do this because of the COVID-19 virus. So we just use some online case conference to keep communicating with the doctors around the world. So my take-home message is that we need to keep learning. We need to equip yourself with different skills and be adaptive, be positive, and we need to have a growth mindset and use the concept of PDCA. And it's all my short talk, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I think a key point is that the self-reflection is a key to review and to ensure the improvement of all the experiences. Taiwan has shown itself as a very good model in fighting against COVID-19. However, we were not perfect and we will not be perfect. The self-reflection mechanism and self-reflection approach ensure us that we will keep growing and keep refining ourselves in this process, and to further ensure that the mutated COVID will not arrive in the communities of Taiwan. That's our hope. The next, I would like to also invite Dr. Zhang. He is a resident physician working on general medicine, which is an overall medicine and applications in the hospital. As a frontline doctor, we would love to know what is his perspective on healthcare and public health services on COVID-19 era. Thank you.
Thank you, Proud Presidents. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to share with you my stories involving this youth and public health and medical assistance. I'm Cho Hong from the Taipei Tzuji Hospital. So before I start on my story, I'd like to just bring you back to the situation of COVID-19 right now. So as you can see from this map, you can see the map is filled with red color markings, and this shows that our world is actually covered fully with COVID-19. The confirmed cases right now at this point of time is 81 million, and the death is 1 million, close to 2 million. And the new cases and new deaths are actually rising rapidly right at this particular point of time. So if we look back in 1st of March 2020, early this year, we can see our world is actually so much cleaner and whiter. So this actually showed that certain policies in place will actually reduce our transmission of COVID-19 effectively. And one of the debatable policies at that point of time, 1st of March 2020, was the universal masking. So Taiwan is a forerunner in this particular field where universal masking is made mandatory in public locations. However, what we actually see from the international organizations such as WHO and the US CDC, they recommend at that particular point of time is that it doesn't recommend the use of face masks to help prevent the novel coronavirus unless you have respiratory symptoms. And we were really quite saddened by this particular news. However, we understand the situation because it is difficult to find evidence that mask is effective. It is hard to conduct a randomized control trial, which is something that we, in scientific research, is one of the higher quality study. It's hard to come up with two healthy group of people, one wearing mask, one without, and we see the transmission of this COVID-19. Just show a number of show of hand, like how many of us over here would like to sacrifice our life in this particular research? I'm sure no one does, because we don't know this mysterious virus. So, but looking at and staying in a comfortable and safe region in Taiwan, I am very saddened to see the number of people dying and getting COVID-19. So it is time for us as a youth, as a responsible global citizen, to share our message of what our local experience to the world. So we decided to do a very simple research, and we found out that there's a country that has very similar policies, demographically similar to ours, and that's Singapore. However, Singapore, at that particular point of time, actually before the 3rd of April, they followed the WHO guideline. Do not use this if you are well. So if you are not well, then you use a mask. So we see that this is a main difference between Taiwan and Singapore at that particular point of time. Okay, so in 3rd of April, we found out that there were, in 100,000 population, Taiwan has so much fewer cases of local transmission than Singapore. As you can see from here, 1.46 versus 19.07. We did an epidemiological data in this. So we wrote a research letter to share this piece of evidence to the US CDC. And we were published in, according to here, is August 2020, but there's a preprint way before in the April. So this was the time that the US CDC actually changes its face mask policy. Not to say that only. We have gathered within 4 months from August to December, we have 70,000 viewers, public. And then we have top 5% in the research, and we have more than 500,000 followers. This means that our message, our insights have been spread across the world, and this is a way that I think that Taiwan can showcase our soft power. And we are pleased to also inform you that our mask in this research, we have also been included in the WHO guideline right this month. And we also think that other than to tell the public, to encourage the public to wear a mask, we know that the public will be frantic and desperate, where's my mask, and so forth. So there's a need for us to actually tell the world, the public, and the local government how Taiwan does it in terms of the demand and the supply of these masks. So we actually wrote an article, and we received some feedback from the New York Times, asking for some inquiries to learn more about the situation in Taiwan, as well as we received local writers. And these are the important people who will be able to spread our message to the local community. This, I think, is something that we as a youth can actually embark on. And we know that even though I'm medically trained, my heart, I'm very concerned with unemployment and economic recession during this dark time. So we write another article to the public to encourage, to bring optimism to the public, telling others that universal masking may be an effective way which can actually help in our recovery. So my final message to all of us is that don't be afraid to challenge the norm. Be receptive to the condition right now, and pick a niche and explore this particular region. And last but not least, let's not forget that we have a powerful backup, which is the Taiwan Youth Ambassador. Because we are working together, you can find helps and collaborate with one another. I believe that this will have a powerful impact in Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you. That research is very interesting. I want to here personally express my gratitude. In November, we have a session of World Health Assembly. I was there, and we were trying to come up with that guideline on December 1st. we cited your paper officially, along with some other Taiwanese research. Doctor has shared with us that bringing optimism is an important work from the perspective of healthcare personnel to the society. I just want to share one thing, that when we are helpless, doing research and showing that there's a method to prove or to prevent is the best way to bring optimism to those that need help. So that is the efforts and precious moments of medical research, and I congratulate again on behalf of my research team and hopefully on behalf of World Health Organization, a small working group possibly. Next we have Yang. He is very different from all the other of us. He is a teacher, he do education work, and his expertise is on exercise medicine and physical activities. We know that it is a hard time to still conduct physical activity in this kind of COVID era. We want to know how we can still adapt to that and try to keep healthy and fit if possible. So let's have Mr. Yang.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm Yang Yiren, Yang Yiren. Everyone call me Eason. I would like to share the important role of physical activity in the post-COVID-19 era in this station, youth and public health and medical assistant. And this is my profile. Now I work I'm a lecturer and teacher in the屏东University of the Science and Technology, and research focus on sports management or international sport affairs. And my specialty, I was the national athlete in Taiwan. So I'm in judo or wrestling before. So now I'm a teacher. And I have shared some experience. In 2015 to 16, I was in St. Lucia a year as a volunteer coach there. And before I was in the National Taiwan Normal University in Shida. And I have some opportunity. When I retire, after retire, I was the manager of our national team. So I not only with the national athlete, also a manager. So to go out to foreign other country to help our national team to get the better awards, and also help Taiwan to protect our flag and our name. Some people to protect. And I have some experience to participate in the International Olympic Academy and Tokyo Olympic and also Rio Olympic Game 2016 before. And also some awards in the academy. And I was the third place in Asia, 2007. Okay, I want to share the first question. How do you think young people can create better impact on the recovery effort in the field of public health and medical assistance? I want to share, be stronger, be strong, not only physically, also the mental. So I want to share some research, including the exercise behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic and also the mood. We know mood is very important, not only physically, not only the body. Okay. Take a look at the charts. In the horizontal, the axis, this is the duration, okay? And the vertical is the intensive. So before, this is compared before the pandemic and during this time. So, okay? So you can check the shorter or lighter, and in the middle, okay, we just in the duration is same before the pandemic, so now it's same, and also the intensity. You mean you exercise lighter or heavier before. So in Taiwan, in this research, in this year, Taiwan we still have a 51% we can still exercise, to continue to exercise. So this is very awesome, you know. In the world, only 26. Maybe the city locked down or quarantined, many things. So we are very proud, Taiwan, we can do it. So I think we could give an applause to us or our government. Okay, and next slide. This is about your moon states. So could see the This horizontal axis is during the frequency, and the vertical is your moon profile of the moon state. So before the pandemic, you exercise if you 1 day or less a week, but in pandemic this period, you could exercise 4 days or more a week. You could get higher or a more better quality in your mood. Okay, so the 4 is better than 3.5. And another one, in 4 days or more a week, if you before pandemic you exercise 4 days or more a week, but in this now situation you can't go out to exercise or do something else. 1 day or less a week, your mood state decrease only 3 points. Okay, so which means if you could exercise 4 days a week, you will get better your mood quality. Okay, this is the research about this year published in the international journal. So it's not only I want to share. Okay, and also, okay, next one. Second question, what trait do young people need to lead in post-COVID-19 era? Be positive through sports. I'm the coach, I'm the teacher. I want to share the period, at least around 3 weeks from December 1st. Some people, we are friends, or you know my Facebook or the IG. We lose around 3 weeks. I only win 2 times. So every day we lose. But I'm a teacher, so I always encourage there. So don't never give up. So how to learn to leadership? I told them you need to learn from errors, grow from the failures. So you need to think about why you lose today. You think about maybe we can do much better with your teammates or something else. Learn to think, to respect yourself. How you can't drink very late and go to competition tomorrow. You need to respect yourself, respect your school, respect maybe Taiwan or everything which depends on you participate which international competition. So you need to be better, to try to be best, to excellence, and friendly to everyone, and never give up. So how to learn in this the leadership? You could participate to join sports to learn how to learn in this COVID-19 era. And that's the question. How can young people in Taiwan showcase our soft power in post-COVID-19 era? Be warmer, and depends on who you are, which situation you are. For me, if I'm the manager of the national team to go out to participate in international games, I need to protect Taiwan. I'd be warmer to protect our teammates, but I have to be stronger to other countries' friends. And if you are now I'm a teacher. So in our school, many foreign friends. These 2 guys from St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and I was in St. Lucia a year, so I know some language about it. So every week morning I was say, Yemen, and they're very happy, and always invite me to participate there the event. Also, if you are the participator international conference, so you need to be stronger, know more things and research. Some people, your friend will know, wow, this guy is very good from Taiwan. I want to connect with me. Okay, so the 3 questions, 3 points. Be stronger, be positive, be warmer. This is I want to share to you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ethan. I hope all my teachers on my campus can be as warm as Ethan. In the research, it shows that the 4 times per week exercise can help fix the mental depression problem. I guess that's the solution to my PT medical school life. And okay, so at the same time, be stronger, be positive. I would like to cite the definition of health according to WHO. It is not the perfect status on your physical, spiritual, and mental status, but the well-beings on physical, mental, and spiritual status. It does not ask you to be 100% perfect or 100% healthy, but the health is about accepting and functioning, adapting to your own situation. I guess that's another kind of explanation to the word strong, but I hope that we can all physically be strong and strong for Taiwan as well. The next speaker is Victor. He works in a pharmacy corporations as a partner. Pharmaceutics field is diversity itself. There are vaccines, there are medicines, all kinds of problems, and that is the heated topics in this COVID-19 era. So let's welcome Victor for his perspectives and recommendations.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the chairs introducing. I'm Victor Zhang from UCB Pharmacy, and I also graduate from Kaohsiung Medical University, also the same degree as you. And today I want to share about, it's my honor to share about some ideas, what I learned from the pharmacy industry. And it's a big question, how can young people in Taiwan showcase our soft power in post-COVID-19 era? But it's a big question. So as we know, Taiwan has emerged as a success story in the global battle against COVID-19. Until today, we have having fewer than 800 cases and only 7 deaths. Among its 23 million residents in Taiwan. So I think it's very good, it's a milestone for Taiwan. So, but what can we do? So we go through in a big scale. And so during the COVID-19, so that challenge us on so many different fronts. So according to the survey of the business impact, so we can see that there are around like 30% of enterprise or company, they are very focused on the staff well-being as one of their top 2 concerns. So being well is very important. Other things will be the second or the other priorities. So and also in Taiwan, we have a good condition, so we can overcome this way. So what's inside in Taiwan? So and in the picture on the right hand, you can see that the people like a citizen, we wearing a mask and we keep an appropriate social distance, and we also to follow the some policy the government to share us. It's not only use, but also we need to do in all of the citizens in Taiwan. And according to like Johns Hopkins Hospital, they make the WebEx, and also including interviewing with our Vice President Zhang, and also to make a series of WebEx for how to the success model for Taiwan. And this is another digital way to share about the people or expert or the people who have the success experience. I think it's a good way for people for idea sharing. This is another platform. And we learning from the history. So Taiwan passed through the SARS epidemic in 2003. So Taiwan has gained the first-hand experience to combating epidemic. And so we are ready to share what we success, what we worked for us. So they have the 5 priority and the 4 strategy. So first one will be like information transparency to help people know what's the situation right now, and the cross-industry collaboration. And today we can see some like the mask industry, the government to collaborate every effort to do to supply the mask supply chain, and also being a responsible citizen is not only for use, for everyone here, for the agile response, for the border control, and the open data. So with this 5 strategy priority and the social support, we are closer and pushing forward. And here I want to share another story. Also it's a very successful milestone. This is a fundraising project called This is a Tech comes from Taiwan. And we can see on the right side, the target price is this project is aimed to speak up for Taiwan, to correct something right. I will give you the story later. So you can see that the target price is 4 million, but in the end, you will get the 5 times, almost 20 millions here. So it's a very successful. That is raised by the young people. So young people can create better impact on the recovery effort. But this story is starting from that. It's for the WHO, WHO Director General Tenderson, and he urged some earlier he has received so many death rate and also racist discrimination for him for past few months. So it's original from Taiwan. So they said people attack him online or ever criticize him. So so this is we know it's not true, or some people like to modify this news for to create a fake situation for us. So in response to the groundless accusation, there is a hashtag called from this attack come from Taiwan. Also Taiwan can help. It can begin trending on Twitter and Instagram, and with the supporter of Taiwan or the citizen in Taiwan to sharing or posting the beautiful picture, landscape, food, or the event that took place in Taiwan or happened in Taiwan. They have a very good memory here. So you can see that not only citizen here, and also the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we can do our massive support for our foreign country or our friends from the overseas here. So Taiwan youth are trying to find the new ways to communicate with the world in many channels. So speak up for yourself, or to try to find your what do you believe, and you can share with others. You can see that there are so many YouTubers right now, also they share some idea, the video, the Instagram, everything, every channel you can use. So back to the question today, how could young people do? How could young people to share to showcase your soft power for the after the COVID-19 era? So I think after today, you guys have the answer. So I will be very quick for the last part. So for the choice, do young people need to lead in the post-COVID-19 era? I think this is the answer for me. I want to share with you is to be an interdisciplinary thinker who are skilled in teamwork, team science. You need to be coordination with others, and some resource and integration capability, and to be you need to have a creative problem solving and decision making. So who are and always committed to the fundamental of good scientific practice. So Taiwan can help is helping. So next time when people ask you who can help, we can answer proudly, say that Taiwan can help, youth can help. Thank you.
Okay, now you have me. Sorry for that. Okay, it's very good to be a concluded speaker for this seminar because, I mean, they have shown you what different perspective of healthcare professionals and public health perspective on this, I mean, public health and healthcare is the center of COVID era. In the past, nobody cared about what happens in hospital. Now everyone cares our labor situation and our training process. But I would love to ask a first question before I start. How many of you think that you study something about health? Like, what do you study? Do you study something about health? I see 1, I see 2, and that's definitely wrong. I will let you know why. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm currently still a student in National Cheng Kung University. So you are my in Mandarin 哥哥姐姐们. But fortunately, this year I started to serve as the president of International Medical Students Associations. It's a federation established in 1951, as old as United Nations or something. We work with doctors and WHO on many health policies, and now I'm currently still a guideline development group member, partly on COVID, diabetes, and now in self-care intervention for 2021. So this is the slogan we have been using for the past 5-10 years, that health is not just in health policy, health is in all policies. Gender issue is a health issue. Economy issue is a health issue. Food security issues is a health issue. Politics science is a health issue. Everything is health. Literature is health. Art is health. So no more saying that you don't do health, you have nothing to do with health profession, because you do. When our government setting a good health policies, every aspect needed, every aspect affected. So that's why we said, earlier in 1970-ish something, we have the first international law on the health aspect. It's called International Health Regulation, IHR. After the era of SARS in 2003, there's amendment in 2005 passed in World Health Assembly that served as a guiding document for the whole world, including Taiwan, to establish our CDC system and how we combat diseases and infectious diseases. If you see the slogan, the lowest part, until all sectors that are truly prepared, no country is ready for health prevention or disease fighting. Are we ready? We are not sure. Maybe our ambassadors, our excellencies can answer that question. Are your countries ready? Is your education sector ready for health prevention? Is your economy sector ready for health prevention? In Taiwan, we see this time health ministers, he is the leading role when setting all the quarantine regulations, setting all the problems, solving skills, and there's a strong backup in the cabinet of our government, and that was complemented by many media, international press, and many other countries. But are we fully ready? That is a question for you, because you are the youth ambassador. You speak for Taiwan, and you give the answer to the question raiser, including me as a normal Taiwanese student. This graphic is from the United States. They have a seminar and webinars about what America should look like after COVID era. This seminar, they gather all professional interdisciplinary speakers. They try to find out a potential way to solve this issue. And I see the youth is a group of the most diverse and the most possible group of people in the world. When I say most possible, it means we are more flexible in mindset and we are more adaptive to potential changes. In our early seminar, those artists and those art workers, they introduced to us the problem of adaptations to a new media and new platform used in art. That applies to any other places and any other industry. Healthcare is experiencing a very different way. The platform, the way we conduct health is different from the past. Even for the international affairs, diplomacies and ambassadors' work, you are doing totally different things. You are not going to meet everyone, shake hands, exchange some of your salivary glands, saliva because you are not drinking anymore. That's for health purposes, and that's very different. How we can still conduct interpersonal exchange, interpersonal relationship establishment, that's something we need to think about. We today talk about post-COVID-19 era, and that's another term, post-pandemic. But I would love to say it as pre-pandemic. We are not done with this yet, even if we have a vaccine, even if we have medication, if we know how to prevent. After SARS, we know we are not done. We established a full system of CDC. Our countries, our citizens know what to do when there is a new pandemic coming up. And that's what is lacking in most of the countries in this world. They don't have such mindset when dealing with pre-pandemic issues. And now I think overall, every country in the world has such, they know what to deal with a pandemic. They know what to do when diseases outbreak. Once a day, maybe next year, maybe somewhere in the near future, we can stay comfortably with COVID-19. But we know that's not time for us to rest. We didn't rest in 2004. We didn't rest after Central African has successfully eliminated the outbreak of any diseases we know, Zika in Brazil, all those diseases, it's not done, it's not post-pandemic. It's the coming of the next round of challenges. I want to end my presentation with this graphic, and hopefully I'm not over time yet. This is a graphic produced by World Health Organization. We are not just now in post or during pandemic era, we're in sustainable development goal era. And you are working on international affairs. You should know this term fully. So everything is related to health. Everything is related to health and well-being. Health for all is not just a slogan, it's a target for all. Health for all, we want to produce health for all sectors, all individuals, all range of ages or different types of person in the world. But the vice versa, all for health. Everyone is committed to health. Every sector in the government, every sector in the private department, all the business, all the students, campus, they decided to engage health issues in their education process. That is when we can start ensure that health is a policy of all and our country is fully ready. The former speaker says that we should be there to challenge the norms, and that start from us, that start from now. I look forward to your questions behind, because we don't know how different people regard health is, but I would love to end my presentation here, and congratulations for your past work on international affairs. You are making friends for yourself, but also making friends for Taiwan, and they are our treasures. Thank you very much, have my respect, and good luck with your future career. Thank you very much. I think we have 2 minutes for questions, so I will collect one. And yeah, so is there any questions on the floor? Okay. Okay, yes, we have one. Please let us know your name and perhaps your questions, perhaps also specifically to which speaker if you want.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Priya, and I'm originally from India. I'm currently a PhD student in National Taiwan Normal University, and I'm also an interpreter. I've been for 20 years. I've been in Taiwan for over 30 years, and I'm really proud of what Taiwan has achieved, and I really think everyone in Taiwan deserves applause for that. However, my question is for Dr. Zhang. I saw that very impressive paper that you did, and I saw that there were 3 Dr. C. Zhangs. 3 authors were all C. Zhang, C. Zhang, C. Zhang. So I'm very curious, like, is this a family? Is your whole family in this business? And I'm very, very impressed. And I've been to Tzu Chi Hospital, and I think it's doing great work, and I'm curious about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Privya. To answer your question, yes, they are my family members. And they are also physicians, and we just graduated. But we did our project right as a medical students. So basically, it's like students who don't have who have a bit of clinical skills, but I'm sure that we can do something to change the world.
Any other questions? I can take one more. If none, I believe we all agree that Taiwan has done something good, perhaps a lot, but I believe that with the efforts of us and you, the best is yet to come. So let's look forward to a better future, better Taiwan, and better 2021. I wish you safe, I wish you a happy new year, and remember to spend some time with your family, that's important. So thank you all again, and I would like to yield back my time to the moderators.
Thank 感谢李会长及所有与谈人带来精彩的内容，让青年大使们了解到青年在公卫医疗的影响力以及能够扮演的角色。
Thank you, Mr. Lee, and all the panelists for giving us this insightful session. We now understand how youth can play an important role and truly make a difference in the field of public health and medical assistance.
接下来是今天的最后一个场次，本场次的主题为青年与科技创新。我们很荣幸邀请到远山呼唤共同创办人蔡婉婷女士担任本场次的主持人。与谈人的部分， 我们邀请到了英国伦敦大学学院硕士生胡君元女士，美国在台协会的王良生先生，台湾特斯拉汽车有限公司的皮运和女士，台湾童心创意行动协会公共事务组的黄玉文女士，以及中兴大学国际政治研究所博士候选人 Sadia Rahman 女士。
Finally, it's our third and last session of the day, Youth and Technology and Innovation. We are very honored to have Ms. Emily Tsai, the co-founder of Call Over Ridges, to moderate the session. Along with Ms. Tsai, the panelists are Ms. Junyuan Hu, graduate student of University College London, who is also a refugee rights activist, Mr. Simon Wong, 2015 International Youth Ambassador, Ms. Lisa P., recruiting coordinator of Tesla Taiwan, Ms. Yu Wenhuang, marketing and social media management of Design for Change Taiwan, and Ms. Sadia Rahman, PhD candidate of Graduate Institute of International Politics, National Zhongxing University. Let's welcome them.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is still alive with us. I know it's kind of a long session for everyone, so I think I'll just save our time. And for a short opening, I would love to, since like our previous host, he has mentioned the SDGs, so I think that will be a great start for this session. My name is Emily, and I'm currently working in Call Over Ridges. That would be an international educational organization. We aim at working for quality education. Currently, we have been serving for 4,000 kids in Nepal since 2015. And we have been collaborating with 10 public schools right now. So I would say I am a representative of quality education and no poverty in SDGs. And our lovable speakers here, she's Junyuan Hu, and right now she's currently working for a refugee issue. So I think that would be another SDGs aspect. And our Simon, yes, he's currently working for quality opportunities for organizations. That would be right? Community, yeah. So each of us have been representing as either an NGO or a sector. So I think for this session to start, it's about innovation and technology and enable to react and respond to the influence of COVID. I think we all have our background and we all have a little stories to tell everyone else in the seat. So our guest, she will be Lisa, yeah. She's currently working in Tesla, and so that would be like for renewable energy. It's a special trend for the future. And our Yuwen, she's currently working in another NGO in Taiwan that would be working for quality education for the kids. So yeah, for innovation, I think to respond to the topic today, under COVID, it's lucky for us to be able to sit here. I was just, before I arrived here, I was just connecting like live chat with our team in Nepal. And they're saying that, oh my God, it's another lockdown. It means that they can't go out, they can't have a chat, like sit next to each other and then have a chat with their friends. They have to be in their home because their government has not been working really an effort on stopping COVID because they lack of medical resources, because they don't trust their government anymore. The crowd has been in a rejection on believing their policy. So it's really lucky for us. And again, it's our government that we have to cheer them up. And it's our lovable people that we respect each other. We wear masks and we follow the policies of the government. So I would love to stay positive and cherish our connection with each other. And so I think for this, at this point, Taiwanese people have been working on a great job and have been doing nicely about staying connected with each other. So I think that's, I want to say that would be the point of, I think, how we should be innovated, to be connected to each other, to respect. And that would be the opening. And I think for everyone, I would start this session from my point of view. So later on, I will respectively introduce you guys for your session and sharing. Okay, so, okay, I'll just. So, I want to start, like before 2015, I thought it was impossible because working in Nepal has been, it's not been easy. Like we have to face different obstacles, such as sometimes you don't have electricity, and sometimes you can't take shower even if you like work so hard. You have to climb mountains and you have to visit the homes. But after all day work, you can't really enjoy like your self-time. You have to deal with like obstacles in life. So I believe everyone be seated have come from all over the world, and you guys have visited different countries. So you might also have your own story. And my story starts within Nepal. In 2020, everyone in Nepal has suffered greatly. And of course, they don't have schools, and they don't even have economic events. Of course, education has been locked down for sure. It's not because of poverty that kids can't go back to school. It's because they can't afford the danger of getting COVID. So the school has been forced to lock down. But within time, I was in Nepal this March just before the lockdown of Taiwan, and I was really scared because it's been a challenge for us. We have been working, like personally, I have to be there and talking to principals and discussing about our projects. But how are we going to react because of pandemic? How are we going to innovate and renovate our projects because of these obstacles? So we came up with this idea. Like you can see in the PowerPoint, at the right side, there is a little girl. She's on the screen. And for Nepal, it's been like the infrastructure is not so efficient, and even the internet connection sometimes is low, but we still manage to use tech, which is like Zoom and so on, to continue our project. So within 8 weeks, we have distributed 3,000 of alternative books, which is designed by the local government of Nepal, and we have successfully distributed 3,000 packages to everyone else. And to solve the problem, we're not using tech. Actually, we are going back to each other. We use the traditional way, like we invite the kids to come to school, to the park, just like on the grass. It's like a picnic. And we still manage to try to solve the problem even with the absence of tech in Nepal. So for us, our session here is about innovation and technology, but within some countries and within some countries that are not as lucky as we are in Taiwan, I would say sometimes the solution might not be technology. Sometimes it's just coming back to connection. And from my point of view, like I think the birthplace of Taiwan's medical research or technology innovation, it all comes from connection, because we want to solve the problem together, and we want everyone else as healthy and as happy as I am, even in this great danger. So for us, we wanted to expand our projects, even with, like before pandemic happens, we really want to expand our projects, educational projects, to different countries and to another place in the world. So we got stuck because we can't visit on site. We can't just talk to the people who are in need by ourselves. So we came up with this idea using tech to solve this problem, because we can all like go on Tinder and see people on our app, right? So we thought like, yeah, why shouldn't we use the same way? Why shouldn't we just like go on different sites, and maybe there are a lot of online platforms or online, just like the events today, online workshops, we can get to know each other on like an hour talk, and we can know what they want within pandemic. There are a lot of teenagers like us sitting here today. We all want to solve problems in the world. So maybe in Cambodia or maybe somewhere in the Middle East, they have teenagers, but they don't have resources. So if how about we can reach out to them like actively? We can reach out to them first and then know each other even in this pandemic online. So we came up with this new idea, and we are about to launch in 2021. We have currently been talking to 19 different teenagers from different countries, and we realized that they have faced the same problems and same worries as we have. We try to solve our problems, but we are luckier because our government is more efficient, but they are not. They face different policies, and sometimes they even face, political arguments within their own country. So what we can do under these circumstances is the thing I want to share with all of you today, that maybe connection with each other is our solution, and sometimes technology is not the best solution to this issue, because we're facing the era of pandemic. And I think for some countries, just like I've been talking to another girl in Sri Lanka, and she said, you shouldn't come because we have a political fight and we don't have nice medical issues, so you shouldn't come within the next 3 years. I was like, why? We are really want to reach out to everyone, and we all want people in different places to be safe and feeling nice. So I think for us, it's lucky. So today, I'm lucky to be here to share my own experience within a short time. And I think for connection, for different backgrounds, we can all together to make a different change within this pandemic event. So thank you. So for our next speaker, we can welcome Yichun Hu. She is currently now working in Refugee 101. So we can see what she's going to share with us.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Qing-Yuan. So a little bit about myself. So I got my bachelor degree in Chinese literature 3 years ago, and I'm about to complete my master degree in education, health promotion, international development at University College London. And you can probably guess from my dissertation title that my area of interest or my passion is refugee issues. Turning from a literature student to a humanitarian was a long journey, and it all started with Taiwan Youth Ambassador Program. So when I was in the first year of my university, but after graduation, I also interned at various organizations such as Transparency International in Malaysia, a local think tank, a human rights think tank in Jordan, and the United Nations in Kosovo. Right now, I am a youth researcher for the UNESCO Youth as Researchers Program, and I'm the founder of Refugee 101. Okay, so here I'm talking about technology and innovation. And now you might wonder, why is a social science student here to talk about technology and innovation? Those two terms sounds very, very intimidating, right? Because it almost feels like you have to invent something groundbreaking like a cat translator to be able to qualify to speak in the panel. But the way, how I approach this issue is to understand it as how can we use technology to do something that has not been done yet. So this picture, so every dot represents like a person or an issue or even a country. The key takeaway of this picture is that our locations no longer dictate our ability to connect to others. So we might be peripherally, but we can still be very, very accessible to all this kind of information. And nowadays with technology, we are able to access information miles away and be well informed, and so be better prepared to react to all kind of situations. But as you might know, the information that appears on our news feed can be very, very selective and partial due to a wide range of reasons, such as media preferences, for example. So all of a sudden, when it comes to a certain topic, you only have a very limited understanding of it, for example, refugees. what comes to your mind when I say the word refugees? Probably only like just a few things, right? And that's why I started Refugee 101. So to raise awareness on refugee issues that are less shown on media and less discussed in Taiwanese society in general. And what I did is to connect Taiwan to the issue of refugees and to have a think under the notion of Taiwan can help. How can Taiwan help refugees? Just to have people think about what can we do on this specific issue. So to answer 3 questions, what role do you think youth can play in the field of technology innovation in post-pandemic era? It was an interesting question, but I mean, I want to first ask, what's a post-pandemic era? Before we talk about post-pandemic era, do we know how is COVID-19 affecting the world right now? I came back from the UK in September, and to me, Taiwan was and still is a parallel universe. And it worries me because I wonder if we can emphasize or even understand what's happening to the world. Like, it really feels like a different world. It's surreal. So, do we understand education disruptions? Do we understand complications and mental health implications? Do we understand economic impacts and how they influence individual and social behaviors? Human rights, we're so proud of our tracking and tracing system, right? But is it slightly impinged on our privacy? Are we having a discussion about how much human rights can we concede for collective good? Are we having the conversation on that? And conflicts and violence, needless to say that the case of domestic violence just jumped as more and more people are ordered to stay home. And it, of course, reflects the changing relationships with family, community, and others. So are our international development projects responding to those changes? And we understand those changes enough to be able to play a role in a post-pandemic era. So what can we do? We can be a gap bridger. So of course, we have those discussions, and we bring those information in to diversify what we know, what we think, and of course, how we react to those issues and be a partner, useful partner in the international society. So what are the new skills for youth to succeed in the post-pandemic world? Needless to say, like communication with communities is a no-brainer, right? But why? Why do we need to communicate with communities? Because people might have a completely different perception of life and priorities in the post-pandemic era. So for example, education disruptions. People might not be sending back their children to school after this pandemic because of economic hardships or because they just think it's not safe. So are we going to use the same rhetoric to persuade people to do things in the way we did? No, we have to change our rhetoric because the world is different for better or worse. So how can young people in Taiwan to promote public diplomacy and showcase our soft power in post-pandemic era? Simply put, how do we see things differently in order to find more space for participation and collaboration? Here I want to highlight soft power. Because what is soft power? The ability to affect others by attraction and persuasion rather than just coercion and payment. So something very, very soft, like Taiwanese culture. Is it our culture is gonna affecting others, or is because our leading role in the tech and manufacturing industry? Or human rights and democracy, as we're so proud that we are the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage, we want to highlight our democratic values and our belief in human rights. Are those things that you have in mind when you think about soft power? Back in 2014, when I was auditioning for the Taiwan Youth Ambassador Program, some of us have to prepare like a short introduction of Taiwan, just to introduce Taiwan to others. So what I did was to frame Taiwan as the amiable individuals welcome all nations. I believe that Taiwan is an accepting country, or at least we try to be. A lot of people are trying to be like that. That's exactly what I do right now. I work on refugee issues. I advocate for refugee rights and possible refugee law in Taiwan, because this is what I had envisioned 6 years ago. So what do you believe in Taiwan, and how are you going to use everything that you all have, like a social media or technology or like a phone, your computer, or everything you have, to make it happen, to make your values be upheld? Thank you, Dosha.
So thank you for sharing that cute Taiwan slogan. And let's welcome Simon. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Simon Wang, and today I want to share with some my experience with you, and like the current work I'm doing. So be proactive and discover the resilient you. Proactive and resilient are the two key words in my presentation, and also that is the mindset of finding a way of promoting like Taiwan's international international reputations. So I'm in the youth ambassador of 2015, and we went to the 4 countries: Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Ecuador. And in Nicaragua, I met the photographer who was the photographer taking the photo for our team. And back to the 2015, he did a great job. But this year, he lost his job because the previous situation. It's very difficult for him. So I kind of talked to him through Facebook, asking what I can do from Taiwan for you. If I can send something like essential medical stuff for you, or something else. And sharing care to the friends is how I maintain the friendship with him. The other story is that it's a happy story. There's a foreign officer in El Salvador. We met in they call it Little White House in El Salvador in 2015. And he was an entry-level foreign affairs officers. And this year is happy for him because he got married and he received a degree from Taiwan Zhang University. And those are the people I met in the 4 countries back to 2015. It was a good time at that time, so we can talk face to face. But right now, we need to maintain our friendship through the Facebook or other medias. All right, and those are the building blocks of my presentation. So to finding a resilient you, first you need to discover from your previous experience, and then I'm going to share what I'm doing right now and using the technology and increase the innovation. And then the 2 main points is like giving cares to others, and if you feel frustrated, you need to thumbs up for yourself. Okay, resilient you. So from my previous experience, I got this idea that you need to set a goal first. You need to going back to see, review all the resources you have and how you allocate the time and the resources. And the second one is you need to create an inclusive environment for yourself. So one people's ability is limited, but if you work in the team, that is the collective power. It's very strongful. And the third one is that you need to do a step forward, be positive, be proactive. And then when you will get success, just doing the ordinary things, and with the strong perseverance and the strong will, then one day you'll go through the difficulties. discover. So I started my career as the assistant in NCCU for the Office of International Cooperation and the interpreter, Spanish interpreter in World Vision. And then I got the opportunity to work for the MOFA in 2015 as a protocol assistant. And then I was chosen to be the youth ambassador. And then the interpreter for CADO, Central America Trade Office. And I currently working in AIT right now. This is the project I did back to 2017. I fully sponsored myself to visit 25 countries in 5 months as a backpacker. And there are 2 stories I want to share with you. One is I met a couple, a German couple in the northern Italy. And later on, I visit them in Bopa. It's a small town in Germany. And then we go traveling together to Stockholm. It was the first time we made back to 2017. But this year, thanks to the technology, we're able to talk online, virtually. And they're sharing their situation in Germany right now. And they want to know what I'm doing in Taiwan. So I talked to them, everything's great here. We have a minimum effect from the previous situation. And they can, so this friendship can be maintained. We met in 2017, but right now through the Facebook and virtually, we can maintain our friendship. And besides this case, I met a French friend in Berlin, also in 2017. Later on, he go to NCCU for 1-year semester's exchange. And this year, during the pandemic, he got the opportunity to come back to Taiwan, got a working holiday visa, and come back to Taiwan. Right now, he's in Taipei, living in Taipei. So this is a slogan of 2015's Youth Ambassador, Youth from Taiwan, Compassion for All. Okay, I want to jump into this technology and innovation of what I'm doing right now. It's like during the PCS seasons, the US governments, they move the officers from post to post each summertime. And my office, Community Liaison Office, is helping them to go through this process. And each year is, we have a SOP, but this year we kind of need to generate the new SOP for them. And we had the online hubs. Virtually, we talked to the globally officers, regional advisors back to the March and April this year. And what we need to focus on is the people first. We need to find the technology and the way to talk to the people and know what they need, and to find a way to find the resources to meet their needs and get them connected to each other. So before they arrive, we assign them a social sponsor. The social sponsor, they can help them inside their housing areas, and they have a line group during their quarantine. They can help each other's, like if they have the problem like dealing with their trash stuff, their social sponsor can help to talk with the EPA, because they staying here for a while, but they have some resources for the newcomers. So be optimistic is the other key point to go through this situation. And instead of being the taker, giving things to others can increase your resilience. So here I want to wrap up my presentation. is that you need to discover like the resources we have and set up a goal and concentrate to move on that goal and create an inclusive environment and using the collective powers and always do a step forward using the technology, any resources you can find. And the most important things is to give yourself a thumbs up when you are frustrated. And thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for Simon for encouraging us to be resilient. And then let's welcome Lisa. She's representing Tesla, right? Tesla, right? Yeah. Let's welcome her.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So I want to kind of just go to the middle because I feel like a lot of you in the back and in the corner are being ignored. So I'm going to stay right here. My name is Lisa, and I currently work for Tesla. Now, who has not heard Tesla before? Now, who has heard Tesla before? Okay. Now, I'm interested to know what kind of company do you think Tesla is? Just shout it out. What kind? Technology company. What else? Energy company. Oh, I'm already hearing answers that I like. What else? Innovation. More? Eco-friendly company. Okay, so all of the above are correct, but I want to jump into our theme today. And, oh, where's my PPT? Okay, so I was a youth ambassador to the Solomon Islands and Thailand back in 2018. That was a long time ago. And although after we returned, we cut ties with them, but I still feel like our trip there was really worthy, and that's what brought me here today. And also, I've tried to visit many countries through the government and to exercise public diplomacy and youth diplomacy throughout my career. And today I want to share with you a few points of how we can create values for ourselves, because now I work as a recruiting coordinator, meaning I interview people to join Tesla. So I work in a market where the commodity is basically you. So in a very competitive post-pandemic era, I want to share with you guys how I tried to create value for myself, and hopefully would be helpful to every one of you. So the first one, the thing that I feel like youth can bring to the market is disruptive innovation, also disruptive thinking. And I think a fellow speaker in the previous session mentioned that youth are more adaptive to potential change and that they have more flexible thinking. And that is very, very important because in the market, we have a very stiff way of doing things. We have a box that we are currently standing in. And that is a very dangerous thing for a youth like us. So my expectation for myself and for you is to provide fresh ideas, to be willing to bring up ideas, but not to have ideas, but be too scared to share with others. And that is what youth can provide to the market right now. And what's also important is to self-reflect every single day. Youth, we are the people with sometimes the least experience, but in other terms, the most space to grow and improve. So every single day, we have to ask ourselves, how can we do this better? Even with just an Excel file at work, or even with your presentation, a bi-weekly presentation you do every 2 weeks. You have to ask yourself constantly, how do I make things better? You have to keep thinking. You have to keep your brain moving. That way, you can keep providing yourself and the market a more innovative thinking process and a more innovative idea. Okay, next. Pressure. So in a previous speech, Simon mentioned that we have to be resilient. So I'm currently 23, and I just graduated college, but I've been working for around 1 or 2 years now, and I find myself to fail a lot. I feel like I've hit rock bottom, and I feel like I've faced challenges that I've never met when I was a student. And after 2 years of working, my conclusion is the fail and the mistake does not matter. What matters is whether or not you bounce back and how you bounce back. That is what matters. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know. But what matters is how you solve the problem. Okay? And one key is the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. If you feel like you've been given a huge challenge, a huge problem, that only means that you have an opportunity to prove how capable you are. If you have a huge challenge that your boss gave you, say, fix it, Lisa, then it is not only a challenge, but also a chance for you to show your boss that you are a problem solver, that you can help him, that you are irreplaceable. Next. Proactive. You have to be proactive. As a youth, you have to be determined. You have to know what you want. You have to know who you want to become. When you come to me and ask for a job, I ask you, hey, why do you want to join Tesla? And you say, well, because, you know, it's Tesla. Then for me, I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what your motivation is. I don't know what your future plan is. So it is very, very important to know what you want and to let people know how much you want it. And once again, self-awareness and consciousness. Make conscious decisions. If a interviewer asks you, why do you want this job? What is this job value to you? And you cannot give him a really rational and thoughtful answer, then it makes me doubt, are you ready for this job? Are you ready for the challenge? So always make conscious decisions. Always know what you want. Next, ownership. As a youth, I want ownership. I want responsibilities. Don't give me less work. Don't give me less responsibility. Don't judge me differently just because I'm young. So I want ownership. But in order to take ownership, you have to always think ahead and always take charge. Don't let other people chase after you and say, have you done this? Have you done that? Always be the person who is proactive and who leads the conversation. That is how you become irreplaceable. Finally, can you be independently responsible? Can you be a person who independently hosts your project or independently finishes your project? A person who is able finishing things without other people's help. That is important and essential to be a competitive youth these days. And finally, can you tell a good story? When you go to an interview, they say, hey, EJ, what's your best qualities? And you say, I'm hardworking, I am good at planning, I have good logical thinking, but what does that mean? How can I know that you're actually a good problem solver? How can I know that you actually are good at logical thinking? So it is essential that you know how to give good examples. It is essential that you know how to tell people a good story to make them convinced of who you are and what you want to become. Now, finally, there are no small things in diplomacy, and diplomacy comes in many, many forms. And as many, many speakers have mentioned, you guys are the best proof of diplomacy, because sports can be a diplomacy, health, you can be a diplomacy, you can do diplomacy in economy, you can do diplomacy in medical. Anything could be a method of diplomatic development. So never underestimate yourself, and always, always include yourself in Taiwan's diplomatic development. And thank you very much, and I hope you can all go rock the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. And then let's welcome Yuwen. Yuwen is representing for DFC Taiwan, and let's welcome her.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lina. I'm the youth ambassador of 2018 and visiting Solomon Islands and Thailand. Like Lisa, we were teammates actually, so I'm pretty nervous speaking up after her. So now I currently work in DFC Taiwan, and now I work as PR section, which in charge of marketing and social management. So the important information here is that Design for Change is a global NGO that we focuses on cultivate children of the design thinking mindset through simple design thinking framework. And so next, before everything starts, I would love to know how many of you has uploaded Instagram story, Facebook, or any other kinds of things on social media of today's event. If you have done, please raise your hand. Okay, pardon me with my poor counting skills, but it seems like there are half of 50% of people has uploaded something on their social media. So this is why that I choose the power of sharing as my topic today. And so in the next few minutes, I will go through those three parts. The first, the challenge and solutions of NGO during pandemic. The second are the opportunity at the moment for us. And the last part would be what I've literally done in social media and marketing. First is that for the most of the NGOs, including DFC Taiwan, the number one challenge is that the reduce or the withdrawal of donation and sponsorship, because several industry has suffered from COVID-19 hugely financially. So instead of seeking for monies, we seek for other kinds of collaboration. For example, where we still hold workshops for our educators, and companies or schools or other institutions offer us decent spaces such as classroom, empty office for us to hold those events. We hope that through this kind of cooperation, we not only achieve our goals that we want to together teach better, but also can be with the business, companies, and other institutions to go through this hard time together. The second challenges for us is that we hold annual DFC Global Summit, but because of COVID-19, it has been canceled this year. But soon, our global partners has come up with an idea that we want to move this event online. But even though the event online, we cannot meet physically, but the purpose of this summit is to share, exchange. Even though this event has moved online, the incredible stories and ideas are still can be exchanged on the online platform. Oh, sorry. So, as we work in DFC Taiwan, we do see problems and challenges as opportunities. So what we do is that the first is internal adjustments, that we reorganize the data and information on the cloud to ensure that our colleagues and our partners can work online remotely more efficient. The second is that we have also developed new services for our educators. For example, there is a project called DFC Alumni, that which DFC Taiwan junior and senior facilitators, they can exchange their teaching material, skills, or experience on the platforms. Hopefully, after the pandemic, they can meet each other in person and share more experience. Sorry. So the third is that what I literally done in marketing and social media. As we know, more and more people rely on online platform to receive information, including us and the educators. So that I share positive information on our social media, I embedded the idea of brave to let people and our audience know that even in this difficult times, there are somebody still cares about you, and encourage them to stay positive with us. And the third is that we not only want to raise, also want to raise people's awareness of sharing real information. As we have known, like previous speakers has mentioned, that social media, online platform, those things, we now, more than people rely on online platform to work, to communicate, and to receive information. So we need to be conscious about what we see, what we share, and what we comment on. And we need to have the ability to distinguish reliable information from unreliable ones. Last but not least, I believe everyone with a smartphone, could be an influencer. Because a smartphone, it's much, much powerful than a supercomputer back to 1990s. So I believe everyone in this room with a phone, it's a change maker to the world. The pandemic has brought several invisible social justice visible. The world is going back to the very first state, or even worse. But what we can do is to share the situation to your surroundings, to the world, through your social media. We need to realize that the spreading of information with social media and with technology could go virus like COVID-19. So we need to use this technology wise and good. Okay, and last but not least, I would encourage everybody in this room to share real and positive information on your social media since from now on. Okay, this is the end of my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so let's welcome our last speaker, Sadia. Thank you. Let's welcome her.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody present here. I would like to start by thanking MOFA, International Youth Taiwan Association, and Taiwan ADI for giving me this opportunity to do this presentation on a very significant topic, that is youth and technology and innovation. So, listening to two of my former speakers, they have talked so much about positive ideas, positive knowledge, and positive sharing. My presentation will be all about a classic case which talks about youth, partnership, and innovation, citing real examples and instances. So I have divided my presentation in 4 parts. I would be talking about the consequences of the pandemic, role of youth in technology, and what new skills the youth should learn in the post-pandemic era. And I'll talk about Taiwan's soft power. So this year has not been a great year. It did not make a great headline, as we all know. COVID-19 is a situation, or brought us a situation where we did not only saw separation of families or millions of deaths or probably ineffable feelings or something, but we also saw extreme poverty. Millions of people were more vulnerable. We saw GDPs getting contracted to -4.3, which could recover if we recover this pandemic era. We saw a very highest phase of redundancies or unemployment that the world is facing. But the only reason I actually point this out is pandemic is there and will be there, nobody knows, but youth and technology and innovation, the partnership was there before pre-pandemic era, and it will exist the post-pandemic era as well. So my only purpose to talk about this pandemic was to highlight that youth and technology and partnership is a legacy that will go on in the post-pandemic era. Youth and technology partnership has existed before pre-pandemic, and it will exist post-pandemic. Unprecedented technological innovations has been done by youth, which have revolutionized defense, military, transportation, homes, etc. So what do we actually, the youth feel empowers with internet. So if you see internet, this is not a luxury from now on. It was never a luxury, but now it has become a necessity. So this accessibility of internet has become a defining feature for our generation. And youth innovation is actually complementing and rendering to achieve all the sustainable development goals by the United Nations. So I have cited 3 instances or examples which complements youth and technology and partnership. For the first one is RecLab. This app is developed by Lebanon youth, 23 years old guy. He developed this app to actually talk about the solid waste management. This is a classic example of community resilience in his area. The other app developed by a Tunisian youth, she developed a Safe Nest app. It is actually giving more empowerment to the females. You can report sexual harassment, and it shows, provides safe zone maps as well. So this is also a classic example of community resilience. The other app is developed by Badia, a Tunisian guy again. The app name is Badia. It is a robot messenger which probably builds a community gap, between the local authorities and the citizens, where you can write your questions and the authorities answer you directly. So this was the classic example of partnership between youth and technology. But pre-pandemic era, technology partnership existed. Post-pandemic era, the technology partnership will exist. What needs to be addressed is the objective problems which the world is facing, and youth has done that. Youth has addressed the climate change. Youth is addressing plastic pollution, and youth is also addressing the air pollution problem. I will cite classic examples of youth and technology again. United Nations Technology Innovation Lab organized a competition and 6 countries came up as winners. They held a summit in 2019 and they were given a tag of Climate Reboot Troops. Again, climate change is a deadly factor. We all know we face melting of glaciers. So the classic example of melting of glaciers is from the Arctic, where the melting of glaciers is happening at such a pace that formation of ice, which is supposed to happen in October, is not happening. The formation of ice generally happens in January. So that is why, to give a classic example of community resilience, some youth indigenous people from the Arctic, they worked on smart ice and they developed Smart Boy. This is a sensor, this is a technology which actually measures the thickness of the eye, and through the satellite they give you information on the maps so that you can travel safely. So this is one of the examples of community resilience. Talking about air pollution, I would like to name 2 Indian who has developed devices to combat air pollution. The youngest person is Jay Kumar. He was a finalist on Young Scientist Challenge, and he has invented a solar-powered air filtration device to combat carcinogenic pollutions. And the other one is Angad Daryani. He is a MIT student, but he has envisioned a 20-foot tower to be actually put up in all the developing countries such as India and South Africa. And he has a 5-step process to trap the carcinogenic carbon particles in the air. So this idea of his is on the process, and probably he has done quite a lot of work on this research and technology. And what else? Plastic pollution is a grave problem which we are encountering. So we dump so much of our plastic in the ocean nowadays, and only 9% of the plastic is recycled, which leads us to like hundreds of millions, 100 millions of sea creatures die annually. So this young guy, his name is Boyan Slat, he is a Dutch person. At the age of 16, he came up with this idea of ocean cleanup, and he set up his company. His vision was he has developed a 2,000 feet long drifting machine or a device which actually collects all the plastic pollutions unmanned way with the gravity of the ocean currents. So this is a classic, again, example of youth and technology, which youth is doing. Okay, so post-pandemic era, the other question which comes up is what skills the youth needs to learn. I would very quickly brush up that learn to discern is a very important skill for youth which should be done, because discern is that capability which gives you critical thinking, and it gives you to encounter misinformation and disinformation. So you need to have that learn to discern capability. Above that, it is very important to have vocational skills as well, and the vocational skills towing with the line what the companies demand. So that is very important in the post-pandemic era for youth to actually become a resourceful employee to the society. Technology skills, coding skills, and adaptive cognitive flexibility is very important for youth to survive in the post-pandemic era and become a resourceful member of the society and a resourceful employee as well. Very importantly, I would like to talk about Taiwan's soft power. What is soft power, which has been mentioned by my colleague as well? It is something which attracts, it's something which co-opt, but it's not coercive. So I would like to give classic examples of Taiwan's soft power. This is a football game invented in Taiwan in 1990s, and now it has achieved worldwide recognition. So it's also Asian Olympics official sport, so it is day by day generating or gaining popularity. So this can be actually harped upon as Taiwan's soft power. The other important fact of Taiwan's soft power is this series which was there, very popular in 2019, which talks about Taiwan's Chiayi street food, and it became so popular that international media also covered up. So this is a classic example that Taiwan's soft power is noticed, and this series was not actually looked from the prism of cross-cultural relations, but it was given the classic Taiwanese identity. So above all, Taiwan is a classic example where it has fought COVID-19 very successfully. Taiwan mask diplomacy should be given a different facet, but this diplomacy should be continued even in the post-pandemic era as well. And it is Taiwan's youth which can continue Taiwan's legacy of soft power. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have some time for questions and answer. Is there anyone who is willing to ask? Oh, okay, the lady in the front.
Hello everyone, my name is Cindy and I was the youth ambassador of last year, which is very lucky because I just came back last year from India and Thailand, which was still very healthy at that time and there was no COVID-19. And I am now working as a marketing specialist in an engineering company. Basically it's a test lab. And so I have a not test lab, it's a test lab. So, okay, so now I have a question for you, for Ms. Huang, because you are also working in the fields of marketing and also PR. And I think digital marketing is a very important solution to reach out to the world at this time. So would you please give some solid examples of what you've done for your organization during this pandemic? Thank you. Like for digital marketing, particularly. Okay.
Thank you, Cindy, for the questions. I think digital marketing is not only important during the pandemic, but also previously and afterwards. And what DFC Taiwan have actually do is that even though Taiwan hasn't suffered much from COVID-19, but we still wanted to promote our missions and goals, because working in an NGO, we need to have the clear missions that what we want to do. And digital marketing for us is to become a plus for us. So we have, like me as a marketing and social media manager, so I have planned to, like for example, assistance of posts, what kind of topics we want to share and what we can tell our audience, like what they can learn from our posts or our sharing stuff or videos, whatever that form is. So that's one solid example. And also we want to go further with cooperating with other non-governmental organizations as well, so that we can share resources and information together, so that kind of power will be more and more solid. Yes, I hope that have answered your question. Thank you.
Another question, because Tesla is one of the customers of my company. So this one is for you and for Ms. P. Okay, so now you're working in an engineering company also, and how are you going to use your soft skills to help such an innovative, oriented company? I think, okay.
Is your question based on soft power individually, or?
Yeah, it's just like you can share your own experiences. I was curious about this.
Okay, so it really differs depending on what function you're working. For example, I'm working for recruitment. And before I worked in recruitment, I worked in the PR industry. I didn't really like it, but I worked in the PR industry. And before that, I represented Taiwan to different countries. So for me, my soft power is all about having your passion, knowing your passion, and representing it. So my passion is in the energy industry. When I was in Ogilvy, I worked for companies in offshore wind power, which is another form of renewable energy. And for me, my soft power is all about how we present how we deliver, how we convince, how we tell a story to the public, how we raise awareness, and how we let people know, for example, that diplomacy comes in many forms, and how you and I, every single one of us, can be a force in Taiwan's diplomatic development. So everybody has a different soft power. For me, it might be my speaking skills, it might be my representing skills, but for some, it might be marketing. For some, it might be medical. For some, it might be sports. But as long as you know what you love, and as long as you use that passion to deliver a meaning, a story, or a core value, I think that really helps self-growth, and it really helps you to develop in your respective industries. For me, in Tesla, which is an energy industry and technology industry. So I hope that really answers your question.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that's time up for us, and thank you everyone for discussing about innovation and youth and technology with all of us. Thank you.
感谢蔡创办人及所有与谈人为我们带来丰富的内容，让我们知道身为青年处于后疫情时代，能够在科技传媒领域扮演的角色，以及需要学习的技能。
Thank you, Ms. Tai, for giving us such a thought-provoking session. It draws our attention on the new skills for youth to succeed and on the roles that youth can play in the field of technology innovation in the post-pandemic era.
我们也欢迎各位与会贵宾到外交部的 YouTube 频道，在此座谈会的直播底下按赞并留言，谢谢。
We would like to invite you to go to MOFA's YouTube channel, check out our live stream, and press like, leave a message, and share.
在座谈会的尾声，我们特别邀请到外交部领事事务局张琼霞科长来为大家宣导旅外安全。因为各位青年大使们都常出国，这些资讯对大家来说非常重要。等一下还有小礼物的发放，请大家先不要离开。让我们掌声欢迎张科长。
Last but not least, we have invited Ms. Sophie Zhang, Section Chief of the Bureau of Consular Affairs for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to tell us some important information about travel safety. And please welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sophie Zhang from Bureau of Consular Affairs, which is affiliated to MOFA. And as you know that when you are coming to Taiwan or you are traveling abroad, you definitely need the service of BOCA. Like when you are coming to Taiwan, you must apply for visa, right? So your visa is actually applied to our embassies or representative office abroad, and which is make the decision by the BOCA. So when our national, you are going to other country, you must apply passport from BOCA as well. However, there's another services that we provided to our overseas national, which is the assistance for our nationals abroad, which who are in emergency cases. As usually we are providing this introduction to our citizens, so the PowerPoint which is written in Mandarin. However, I will try to quickly give the introduction to all of you. And maybe also our foreign friends, you can share with us your experience of your country, how they provide the service and assistance to you when you in need in other countries. First of all, I would like to introduce this very lovely pigeon. We call it Mofa Boka. In Mandarin, we call it Boge. Is the nickname of this pigeon, Boka, Boge. Then afterwards, you will see a lot of it in a lot of platforms we use. So when you are traveling abroad, no matter you are coming to Taiwan or you are leaving Taiwan, you must get prepared. This is information to tell you that how many cases we are trying to help abroad. For example, you can see each and every year, there is an increasing number of Taiwan travelers outside. So like last year, the number is 17 million 1 year, is Taiwanese going abroad. However, due to COVID-19, it has a huge drop number. From the beginning of this year till now, we only have 2.3 million people to traveling abroad. But you see the next, the column just here on the bottom, you will see like last year in 2019, that our embassies to provide the assistance to over 8,000 people in 1 year. But this year, even there's a huge drop of the travelers abroad. However, we still have to provide assistance to near to 8,000 people. It means even Taiwanese is not traveling abroad, but there are still a lot of people are requesting the assistance by our embassies or representative offices. Then I would like to share with you some information, no matter who you are, when you are traveling abroad, there is something that you need to prepare. Firstly, to check your passport. If it is still in validity, it's important. Otherwise, when you are coming back, usually that the airline, they are not going to let you to check in. All right, then you have to apply another passport somewhere where you are to your embassies. Second, as you know that everyone now is used to use digital platform. So MOFA and BOCA already developed some platforms like Line or our own app to our national. So they can use this platform to check a lot of information they need. The third is that make sure that you already buy the traveling insurance. Especially you remember that the services is including the medical assistance to secure you whenever you need, like hospitalized, or if you need to send back to your home country. So this is very important. You will never know what happened to you when you are abroad. Then, as you may know, next year, we are going to have a new cover of the passport. So we are also encouraging people, if your passport validity is about to have the deadline, then we encourage you to apply for the new passport, and we are going to give you some souvenirs on 11th January. Okay, these are two platforms that we have now provided to our national. On the left-hand side is a traveling app. It's developing by BOCA. The right-hand side is our Line official account. I don't know if you know these services, but I really encourage the Taiwan National, you should download the app, or become our friend, our Line friends. So if you still, you haven't been our Line friends, please, you can scan it and start to use it. Before you go abroad, we encourage everyone to check the destination, to check if the destination has some emergency cases. Like sometimes you check in some countries, they explore explosive of the volcano, or there's a typhoon. Like in BOCA, we have these services. We announce the traveling alert to different countries. So before you leave Taiwan, it's better you check what happened in your destination. Then you can get much good prepared. And second, on this platform, we also have the traveler's registration. So this is not monetary, but if you are willing to let MOFA or BOCA to connect you back easily, you can get the registration. So, for example, if there is a huge typhoon, then our embassies will, according to your information, registered to contact you back to make sure you are safe. Then, so what kind of services we are providing? For example, if you lost your passport or you are caught by the police of the foreign countries, or you have the problem when you are going to enter the country or leave the country, you are injured or even in that situation, or you are the victim of the criminal cases, or you are in a situation which is unexpected, like in war or in national disasters like in COVID-19, then you can call our embassies or representative office to request the assistance. We have a 24 hours emergency center in Taoyuan National Airport. So we also have a 24 hours free dial. Then you can call 0800-085-095 to call this center. And this center will transfer your request to an embassy or representative office. And may I speak in Mandarin? This number is actually sounds like 你帮我,你救我. You help me, you save me. 0800-085-095. So you can dial this number. Or otherwise, if you are already abroad, you can directly call the 24 hours emergency number of each embassy's or representative office. Our colleagues will pick up your call no matter what time it is. Okay, so in our Line app, we give a lot of information or services to our national to let you know when you are in some unexpected situation, how can you help yourself firstly. So sometimes you don't need people to save you. You can save yourself at the beginning. Then you can save a lot of time and money for yourself. So because I only have 10 minutes, and this information I hope that can help everyone to get through easily and come back to Taiwan safely. Thank you very much.
感谢外交部长官的宣导。今天的座谈会到此告一个段落。3个场次的讨论都相当精彩，相信大家都获益良多。感谢各位与会贵宾与青年大使们的热情参与，还有各位线上参与的朋友们。我们的直播到此结束，谢谢。